Enter. Islam. Peace, King.
How you feeling?
I'm well.
How much?
444.
Can I get 2 bags?
Yes, sir. Okay, yeah.
I just want 2. Just 2 right now.
You know what? This is on me, King.
Get thanks.
Yeah, this is for the family. All right?
No doubt.
Indeed.
This is for you.
Oh, man. Beautiful.
Peace.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yes.
It's a healthy one right there. It got seeds in it.
This one got seeds in it.
It got seeds in it.
It broke the scale. Look at you. We need a whale scale now.
Yes, sir, man.
Yes. Greetings.
Peace, brother.
Peace be unto you.
It's so magnetic. Red pillar. It was recognized as ultra. They weaponized the culture. They recognized the vultures. Blue pillar. It's so magnetic. KT the arch. It was recognized as ultra. Cambada. They weaponized the culture. We went from Eugene Adams, searching for the blacks in China, to searching through these back pages for some black China and some black vagina. We went from the UNIA and the black starliners to some black masons, black shriners, buying crack from the miners. Went from dapper damn black designers to some Gucci turtlenecks, black face reminders. Moving on up, Sherman Helmsley. But the shooters is shooting on up. There's nightmares on Elm Street. Computers, yeah, they booting on up. I'm dream chasing through the Jason months. As above, so below. We was adjacent once. Rethink your fears. They drank your tears. While you making up for delinquent years, the distinctive years, crack pays, black rage, Beanie Siegel backstage, state property, crack cage, hell up in Harlem, the black plagues, Luke Cage, going through his crack rage, captured, bulletproof zombies, raptured, toothless blondies, carving a piece, ruthless Gandhi, starving for peace, no disguise for the vulture's eyes, most survive, but their cultures die. Look at Scarface through Sosa's eyes. Approach the guys and get posterized. Or dropped in the acid, emulsified. All of your media is socialized. When they see us and they start acting goofy, we smacking koofies, they bad and bougie. I'm a timeless royal, times of turmoil. Phyllis Thomas on Thomas Boyle. Flaxseed oil, black winter boil. Color of the backstreet soil with orange coils. We the lost attraction, I'm the course of action. If she look like Penny for a good time, I toss her Jackson. Me in the carbon, this quantum entangled. I'm dripping in carrots, the sponsors are jangled. If I had to decide to fade to Billy Gates, I'd say young chop his ass like Philly steak. Shit, I gave birth to a lady killer. Object of desire to Mercedes dealers. A hard pill they soon to swallow. Wherever I go, all these drones, yeah, they soon to follow. I resisted the urge and persisted to purge. Protect the hood from the peckerwood in my neck of woods. Delectable Negroes say they neck is good. Protect the wood, protect his wood. 36 chambers, Inspector Deck was good.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Was y'all able to hear the video? I don't know if was y'all able to hear that? Whoa. Y'all was all right, cool. Okay. That's right. All right. Shout out to my brother Mathino Bay who directed that. Shout out to House of Tunes. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, y'all should let me know what's the next video that I should film. It's been a while since I did videos and shit. I got to get back on it before the summer's over. We shot a few videos. We got to roll some things out, but yeah, that's what's up. Let's do the roll call. Let's do the roll call. Can you hear me clearly? Is my audio good? I don't have a microphone right now. I'm going off from my computer. Can you hear me though? Let me know. Can you hear the sound effects? Try to bring the sound effects back. Y'all can hear the sound effects? Okay. No sound effects? Hold on. That's not good. What's going on here? Hold on a minute before we even go forward. Can y'all hear the sound effects? Sound effects are low? All right. We got to turn that up. What's going on? Bluetooth. But not through the headphones, though. Hold on. Not through the headphones. Can you hear it through the computer, though? Yeah, it's through the headphones. I don't like that. Yeah, we don't like it tiny. We need big sound effects. No, we're going to have to go. Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to have to come back to that. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, let's do the roll call. Let's do the roll call. Shout out to everybody in the building. You know what I'm talking about? I see the family was really good. Yeah. So we got Chirac in the building. You already know what it is. Shout out to Chirac, Missouri in the building. You feel me? Compton is in the building. Shout out to Compton. Shout out to the Compton family. You feel me? Yeah, we're going to fix the sound effects before the night is over. We're going to fix the sound effects. Northeast DC. Shout out to Northeast. West Palm Beach, Dade County, Vegas, South Carolina, Columbus, Chirac, Clayton, West Side, Vegas, Columbus, Ottawa. What's popping in Ottawa? How does Ottawa look? I ain't never been to Ottawa. Is it lit? West Palm, Dade County, Anderson, Naptown. Somebody's in Kamala Harris. I hear you. Michigan Fest. Peace from Senegal. You live on 116th, right? That's where the Senegalese bees at. West side of Vegas. You know what I'm talking about? Philly. Belize. Is that Sean Poe? ATL by way of the NO. You already know what up, my guy. Big East Side, Big Zone 6. That's what I'm talking about. Big energy right here. Delaware, Canton. I drove through Canton before. The BX. Shout out to the Bronx. You feel me? Shout out to the Bronx. Philly. You Philly, do you know where I was in that video? Do you know where the gates of hell is? Did you recognize that in the video? You know what I'm talking about? Baton, Boca Raton, poking your moms. What up? Michigan, 919, Birmingham, Norfolk, Boston, Strong Island, PG County, St. Louis, Minnesota, BK, was goody, Leimert Park, Akron, yeah, Michigan, Smyrna, 113th Harlem, Bridgeport, Connecticut, Moreno Valley, okay, Willingboro, Hinesville. You live by the Bronx Zoo? I used to live by the Bronx Zoo. Real talk. I used to live by the Bronx Zoo. Vegas messes with you heavy. Okay, that's what's up. I rocks with Vegas heavy. Vegas is a mystical place. I promise you. Some of the best times in my life I did in Vegas. I met the son of my first. I met my son's mother in Vegas. My first son, Amir. Shout out to him and his mama. All right, they tapping in from ISIS, from the International Space Station. That's what I'm saying. We beyond global, baby. St. Louis, Newark, Riverside, Jersey, New Brunswick, Wildwood. Okay, South Jersey. All right, Jupiter's in the building. Kansas City, St. Petersburg. Man, we deep up in this thing. God damn it. Are we a little deeper today than we usually are? You know what I'm talking about? I blame it on a flyer, right? Stankonia up in this thing. What's up, Stankonia? Kabul is tapping in. Man from Kabul is tapping in. Shout out to the Taliban. You know what I'm talking about? New York, Harlem is in here. West Side Camp. Yeah. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. Somebody said earlier in the comments, you know, I'm answering all comments. We got enough problems in America. We don't care what's going on in Afghanistan. Please remove yourself tonight if that's how you feel. You know what I'm talking about? Because I'm, you know, I don't even want to deal with shit like that. Shout out to Raleigh in the building. You already know Raleigh is lit. I've been to Raleigh. Raleigh has mad love. Raleigh has some beautiful people out there. KTL and the ATL. Little Haiti in the building. Cobb County in the building. Because to be honest with you, I'm not here to talk about nobody's problems. This is Melanin Mondays. This is When in Rome, my nigga. I'm here to tie some things in. You know what I mean? We live in America. You know, this shit is geopolitical. What you saw take place in Afghanistan has huge ramifications in America. So we're going to get into it tonight. We're going to talk that talk. We're going to go through some history. We're going to go through some mysteries. You know what I mean? And we're going to have conversations. So, you know, please be patient. Like, bear with me. You feel me? Let me cook. Please, I'm in the kitchen. Let me cook. You know what I mean? This is not Joe Biden's fault. No, it is not. You know? No, it is not. We will talk about that. Connecticut. What part of Connecticut? All right. All right. Peace from Connecticut, Lordy. What's goody? All right. Yeah, beautiful women in NC. Let's be clear. We know this is something that we know. You feel me? Shout out to North Kakalaka. Yeah, you know. Something in the water. Something in the water. Yeah, don't forget to hit the likes. This is Bush doctrine, right? This is Bush doctrine. Let's just get into it. Let's go and watch a little bit of some video. I love to show video to start it off with. Let's get the family familiar with the situation, because I don't assume everybody knows what's going on, because to be honest with you, I didn't even know what was going on all the way. I had to really tap in and whatnot. So let's tap into what's going on over there in Afghanistan, and you know, let's tap into the geopolitics and whatnot. So let's start right here.
The other thing I like about StreamYard is that if there's ever a glitch...
Let's talk about the Taliban. They've been fighting the government and its allies in Afghanistan for 20 years. Today, they seem stronger than ever.
The Taliban have adapted their tactics. They've gotten more brutal.
And now the Americans are going home.
It's time to end it forevermore.
Biden wants his troops out by September 11th, and that could strengthen the Taliban even more. So who exactly are the Taliban? How is it that they have so much power? And why are people worried they'll take over Afghanistan again? To understand the Taliban, you need to know what happened in Afghanistan in the 1980s. Afghan guerrillas called the Mujahideen fought a Soviet occupation for 9 years. They even got money and weapons from the CIA. In 1989, the Soviets pulled out and the next few years were pretty chaotic. By 1992, there was a full-blown civil war with tribal leaders fighting for power.
We make a job for you.
Hate these fucking
You can
ads.
teach, consult.
2 years later, a militia called the Taliban started getting attention. Many of its members had studied in conservative religious schools in Afghanistan and across the border in Pakistan, and some of them had also fought as mujahideen. And they had their own plans for the country.
The people were so frustrated with this lawlessness, and the Taliban came marching along from Kandahar to city to city to city, saying, "We're gonna make the cities safe for you again."
By 1996, the Taliban had seized the capital. They declared Afghanistan an Islamic emirate and started imposing their own strict interpretation of Islamic law.
They were like, "You can't watch movies, you can't listen to music, women can't go to school, and
Can't
other than
work.
doctors, they can't go to work. You have to wear a certain type of clothes. You have to have a certain kind of beard." It just became more and more restrictive.
Then 9/11 happened. The US was after al-Qaeda's leader Osama bin Laden, who was hiding out in Afghanistan with the Taliban's help. The Taliban said they wanted proof he was behind the attack, and when they refused to hand him over immediately, the Americans invaded.
The Taliban will pay a price.
Within a couple of months, the Taliban were forced out of power, and Afghanistan got a new interim government. 3 years later, it got a new constitution, and Hamid Karzai was elected president. While that was going on, the Taliban had regrouped. They wanted foreigners out, and they wanted back in. What followed were years of devastating conflict, and it's still going on. More than 40,000 Afghan civilians killed, at least 64,000 Afghan military and police, and more than 3,500 international soldiers dead. The US alone has spent almost $1 trillion on the war and reconstruction projects. And after all that, Afghanistan is still deeply unstable, and the Taliban are still a force to reckon with.
They're an insurgency fighting international occupation as they see it. They're fighting an illegitimate government in Kabul as they see it. And they're a voice of resistance to, as they see it, return Afghanistan to a more pure Islamic society.
Today, the Taliban have as many as 85,000 full-time fighters and training camps across the country, and the area they control has been growing. Right now, the Taliban control 1/5 of Afghan districts. On top of that, half of all districts are considered contested, which means the Taliban have a strong presence in many of those places too. And they control parts of some major highways.
Whoever controls the roads in Afghanistan, pretty much controls the country. They've managed to basically give people the sense that wherever you go, you'll have to deal with the Taliban.
They're also well organized. The Taliban's leader is Hibatullah Akhundzada. He heads a council that oversees about a dozen commissions in charge of things like finance, health, and education. Below them are local officials in charge of everyday services. So, in a way, the Taliban have set up a parallel state. They even run their own courts, which can be pretty popular among Afghans.
Justice has been a huge gap in Afghanistan, and where the state courts have failed, these Sharia courts are able to come into communities who may even be reticent to support the Taliban, but they offer justice.
All that control has also made them rich. According to Taliban members and a UN committee, they make close to $1.5 billion a year. They've always made a lot of money from growing opium poppies and the drug trade, but they found even more ways to generate income. Last year, they made millions from mining and trading minerals and even producing methamphetamine. They also have their own tax collection system and receive funding from abroad, although suspected sources like Pakistan and Iran deny it.
The other thing I like about StreamYard is that if there's ever a glitch.
Over the years, the international community has tried to get the Taliban and the Afghan government talking, or at least to talk about talking. There was even a meeting in the Maldives at one point. And during a brief Eid ceasefire in 2018, Taliban and Afghan soldiers were seen mingling in Kabul, even praying together. But overall, peace negotiations haven't achieved much.
The Ghana government has been incredibly antagonistic and sees the Taliban as a real existential threat to everything that they represent.
The Taliban have been quite adamant on their demand that they want the re-establishment of their regime that was toppled by the U.S. intervention.
The question now is, what will happen when the roughly 10,000 U.S. and NATO soldiers leave? Will the Afghan government be able to survive? And what will the Taliban do? Well, the prospects for peace and stability aren't looking great. Even while peace talks have been going on, almost 1,800 Afghan civilians have been killed or injured in the first 3 months of this year. That's almost 30% more than last year. There's also been a wave of assassinations that people blame on the Taliban.
Targeted killings continue. Civilian government workers, employees, but also activists and journalists.
It's to make people feel less and less safe, less and less secure, to sort of send back the message repeatedly that your government is not protecting you.
Afghans are already asking themselves what life might be like if the Taliban take over again. Will they rip up the constitution, which protects basic human rights?
Will women be able to travel without a male guardian? Will women be able to be judges? Will a woman be able to run for president? So there's a lot that is ambiguous and unknown.
In a New York Times op-ed, the Taliban tried to clear things up, saying they want to build an Islamic system where the rights of women that are granted by Islam, from the right to education to the right to work, are protected. And right now, there are some places under Taliban control where girls are in school, but not everywhere.
It's really localized. I mean, some areas we know that the local commanders are a bit more flexible when it comes to women's education. In some areas, they are not at all.
So how much support is there for the Taliban? Well, according to a major public opinion study done in 2019, 85% of people said they had no sympathy for them.
I've traveled to a large proportion of this country. The vast majority of people I speak to don't have a favorable view of the Taliban.
و اون طالبه که در ذهن من کابوس بد و خوابهای شیرین کودکانه مرا به یک خاطرات تلخ مبدل ساخته هرگز نمیپذیرم.
People may not like them, but the Taliban know what they want, and they've shown that they're in it for the long haul. So far, their strategy seems to have worked. Al Jazeera is always monitoring the situation in Afghanistan and the negotiations here in Doha. So check out our website for the latest.
Now, I showed the video just now to give the viewing audience, all 600 plus of us, right, slight context. You are to take everything that you see in mainstream media with a grain of salt. But of course, it's similar to if we were Afghanistan, if we were living in Afghanistan and we was like, what's going on with niggas in America? And then we clicked on Vice News to talk about Black Lives Matter. And then we would think that everybody is down with Black Lives Matter. And anytime somebody spoke up for black people, that they were Black Lives Matter, right? So whenever you hear Taliban and Al Qaeda and all of this other stuff, take it with a grain of salt, right? But I want to show some type of context. There is some truth in what it is that's being shown, right? America created these niggas, okay? America helped to create them when they got with them in the 80s with the Mujahideen, and they got behind them to fight the Russians, right? And they were training them similar to how the CIA is known for training multiple regimes, regime changes. They're known for backing death squads, dictatorships, criminals, all kind of shit, coup d'etats all around the world. Before the night is over, I'll briefly go through about 30 different countries that the CIA and the DIA in America and the GI Joes had their hand in destabilizing and committing mass atrocities, right? We know those of us, I did a shout out when I did the roll call. I called out many different states that are out there. A lot of the states that I called out are familiar with the opiate crisis, right? They're familiar with the opiate crisis, right? The fact that when you go into small town America, the mega cities in America, rural America, urban America, these niggas is on dope, right? When you go into Piggly Wiggly's, Family Dollar, you see these white Beckies and they're on opiates, they're on cocktails. They doped up. You could tell a dope, you know a dope fiend because there's levels to dope fiends. There's level. It's not just people out there on the street nodding and whatnot, laying on the concrete on 125th Street in Lexington or on the train shaking cups and whatnot. You got functional dope fiends. They're working in child protective services. They're working in the police department. They're working in the fire department. They're out there in the motherfucker. They're in the college campuses as professors and whatnot. They're working in the hospitals doing surgery. A lot of America is on that doogie, my nigga. Okay, it's on that doogie, and the opioid crisis or the opium crisis that affected Black America particularly, right? This was a result of what they call the French Connection. If anybody is watching the series called Godfather of Harlem, right? I just watched the last episode of right before I started this shit, right? With Forrest Whitaker. This season, and I believe last season, chronicalized what is known as the French Connection. They had the people from France who was in alignment with the Sicilian mafia supplying the Harlem, the hoods of Harlem and vicariously down south, right? And everywhere where our people were at, and they flooded it with the doogie, right? With that dope and whatnot, okay? This was before Vietnam. This was after Vietnam. The movie Dead Presidents, right? Remember Dead Presidents when Chris Tucker came home and he was a dope fiend and whatnot? You feel me? So, yeah, that dog food, nigga, that horse, and that dog food, right? And, you know, a lot of brothers is selling it as well as a lot of people are on it. And you know, if you get caught with that dog food, what they finna do to you, you know, during in the sentencing, you know what you about to get. You know what they're giving assholes full of time for that dog food. Yeah, American Gangster, Frank Lucas, you feel me? Nicky Barnes, the birth of a lot of the quote unquote Harlem gangsters that people look up to and revere right before crack hit, right? Right before crack hit, we have the quote unquote, because it was called a surge of dope or opium, right? The poppy seed is accredited with quote unquote destroying the quote unquote upward mobility of Black America. We were on the way up, Fat Joe, on the way up. We was doing good. Go back and look at Marcus Garvey's marches, right? If you have the opportunity to see the quote unquote Marcus Garvey UNIA demonstrations and look at the cleanliness that our people displayed. If you were to go and look at old pictures of Harlem, right, and look at the quote unquote the purity in our people, if you were to look at the policy bankers and whatnot when they were dealing with the numbers and whatnot, if you were to go and look at Cab Calloway and what they was doing at the Cotton Club and things of that nature, correct? Clean, right? Healthy, right? Strong, right? Very strong, very clean, very dignified. When you begin to see our people looking raggedy, when you begin to see our people looking tattered, when you begin to see our people looking like they're what they call vagabonds, that's a result of drug addiction, right? People may be under the impression that black people or melanated people or aboriginal or whatnot, we were always fucked up in the game. Like we was always, you know, struggling and whatnot. And, you know, contrary to popular beliefs, that's not what was going on. We had something called the Harlem Renaissance, right? And then we also had something called the Roaring 20s. So when they were going through what is called the quote unquote depression, we were still popping. We were still we were still going through our upward mobility. You have black towns, right? Prior to them being destroyed and whatnot by homeland terrorists and whatnot. You had Rosewood, Black Wall Street. They destroyed Black Wall Street in the 20s. During the time of our quote unquote Renaissance, they destroyed Black Wall Street. What was it, 27? Right? The French Connection was a scheme through which heroin was smuggled from Indochina through Turkey to France and then the US and Canada, sometimes through Cuba. The operation started in the 1930s. So when I see things taking place in Afghanistan, although I'm not in the military, I'm not in the armed services, I don't even have a lot of family that's basically suited and booted and whatnot, I still see the connection to what I'm witnessing when I'm going into the hood, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, how in 2020 do niggas get on dope? Like, it's like smoking crack in the 2000. Like, how do you pick up a crack pipe in 2020 after you've seen what it did in the 80s and the 90s? How do you fuck with the doogie? How do you get on heroin after you see what it had, how it ravaged Black America for decades? Some shit that you can't shake. Remember Romello's Pop from Sugar Hill? How do you put that needle in your arm? Now I understand that people are becoming addicted to opiates based off of the fact I'm not gonna show you my toe. I wanna, how is about 800. I will cut that shit in half to 400 if I showed you niggas my toe. But in the year 2014, I was in Texas, right? And Bella, right? This was in 2013. I'm sorry. Bella was about to be born, and her mother asked me to move a floor model TV off of it was supposed to be a floor model, but that shit wasn't on the floor. You feel me? It was like in a cabinet somewhere. So I didn't have no socks on, right? No, I had a pair of socks, so I had no sneakers on. I go to pick the damn TV up, not remembering that these old model TVs have big ass backs on them. Remember the TVs that weighed 100 pounds? Make a long story short, that shit fell on my toe, right? It fell on my toe and it split my toe in half, right? So at first I was like, my toe is getting hot. You know what I mean? I'm like, this shit is heating up. I didn't even want to take my sock off. Then I took my sock off and I was like, Lord have mercy. You know what I mean? Mon done lost his toe. What's happening? You know what I mean? Operation saved my toe. So we called the ambulance. I went to the hospital. They put me on painkillers. Which was an opiate, right? So I understand. And to be honest with you, my geniuses, like I didn't abuse the painkillers, but I needed to pop them shits for about a whole week because the pain was kind of excruciating. I was walking around New York City with a fucking slipper on for like a month, my nigga. And if anybody ever had any damage to your foot, you feel it through your whole body because that is the foundation of where all of your nerves are at. So I was nervous. You know what I'm talking about? This was like, I had to go back to New York and it was in February. It was mad cold. And nigga, I'm wearing a fucking slipper. It did a number on me. So I was popping the painkillers, right? I don't know all of the milligrams. All I know is that when I took them shits, I was numb. when they start wearing off, I felt the pain. So people have been prescribed Oxycontin. People are being just prescribed very strong opiates. There were lawsuits going out against the quote, what you say, king disease. I didn't have gout, my nigga. I just had a messed up foot for a minute, you know? And I'm working on that. I'm going to Colombia to get I'm gonna with somebody to get a BDL, and while they get their butt lifted, I'm gonna get my toes done. How about that? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, in Colombia. Talk black to me. But anyway, I'm gonna get a body job on my toe. But I understand how people could become addicted. I get it. Like, and for some reason, a whole lot of Americans are becoming addicted to the opiates. Right now, it's a crisis. I'm not here to judge. You feel me? I'm not here to judge nobody. You know, I'm being extra. Don't take my shit critically. My toe is not that bad. I'm just being real extra, man. Don't. Somebody said a 3D printed toe. Oh shit. So I'm not here to judge. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that. We'll talk about China in a minute. I'm not here to judge on anybody's opium addiction, right? I'm not here to judge nobody for their opium addiction. I know that it's happening in different stages for different people. Nigga said my toe was gonna be an NFT. Yeah, I was thinking about it. The younger generation, right? The youth them, they have it bad, right? They have it bad because they're addicted to opium or opioids in the form of lean, right? Which was made popular by sipping on some scissor, right? And then after the syrup, you had Lil Wayne with the double cup, the white double cup that is. And then after the white double cup, niggas start popping up with the red cup, right? And then after the red cup, they start dealing with the activists and whatnot. And then after the activists, they start fucking with the perkies. Now, I heard the perkies is like Viagra, right? Anybody pop perks? Talk black to me. Tell me what that's about. And these little niggas is popping mad perks. They popping Prozacs. They popping everything. They popping Xannies, bars, right? And this shit is addictive. You seen what's that boy name? Your man's in them. What's that nigga name? I mean, there's a lot of deaths in the industry, but then you have homie Famous Dex, right? Famous Dex. Some of you ladies out here, that was your MCM and whatnot. You was on that nigga's back for a minute. But yeah, Famous Dex. And then you have Little Xan. You know what I mean? You have what's my guy? He died of an overdose. The white boy, the rapper, Mac Miller, right? Juice World, right? And Future is like the poster child to this whole shit. You feel me? So Future was like Molly Percocet. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Little Peep died. You know, my guy Little Dirk said he was addicted. You know what I mean? Fredo Santana died. They said Pimp C allegedly. Some people say he got knocked off. Allegedly, he died from the lean. Right? There's a litany of people out of Texas that died from the lean. I believe DJ Screw died off the lean, right? So Mac had a combination of pills, coke, and alcohol. Then you have people selling dirty pills, right? That have the fetty in it. It has the fentanyl in it, right? ASAP Yams died off of the pills. You know what I'm talking about? Rick Ross, he had to get off of it. He almost died. He said that he was getting seizures and he pooped on himself. He was having seizures. And Lil Wayne. Look at Lil Wayne. Look at what it did to your man. Look at what it did to Wayne Carter. So, did Whitney die off of the fetty, off of the opium? They said Prince had fentanyl in his system. They said Prince had the fetty in his system. Michael Jackson had some shit too. He died of a cocktail. So, there are legends, right? That the children, the youth, the young ones are looking up to. They adore these artists, and they follow the footsteps of these artists. If the artists say that the lean got me lit, they drinking the lean. If they say the perks got me lit, they drinking the perk. If they want that slow flow where it sound like they lazy and whatnot, you know, that laid back shit, Nardo, they want to sound like fucking what's the young boy? I like his voice. Nardo. It's Nardo something. The shit stomp. You know, they want that slow flow. They want to sound like they half asleep. You know? Yeah, Nardo Wick. It's my guy. Protect Nardo Wick. You know what I mean? And a lot of the youth. Yeah, Meek was fucked up on it too. You could see it in Meek. You could tell that he was on some drugs. You could tell he was addicted and whatnot. Lil Baby is addicted. You know what I mean? You know, it's a lot of these young boys that are straight up addicted, right? And the thing with the music is that they feel like they have to be in that zone in order to produce the type of music that people that they look up to, like Future, is making, or the Little Baby wave and whatnot. They feel that they got to get fucked up to be able to hit the studio and just go off of or you know, punch me in, go off the top of their head and whatnot and get that same type of feeling. You feel me? You just lost your boy off of perks. Sorry to hear that, man. Condolences. Right? They feel that they can't create without it. Right? And I don't remember a time where we were dealing with such a crisis in the culture, because I'm giving you I'm showing you, I just named about 20 artists. So if the artists are dying, imagine what the people in the hood are going through right now. If the artists are going through it, imagine what the people, the regular average 17 and 18-year-old, imagine how many of them are dying, right? So yes, we could go all the way back into the jazz era with Coltrane, with Billie Holiday. You feel me? They was on that horse. They was on that dog food all the way back then. This shit is following us, right? This is deeper than cocaine. This shit is deeper than coke. The opiate is a whole nother, you know, that's a whole nother demon right there. So when we look at the Taliban and the poppy fields in Afghanistan, the small history lesson that we learn is that prior to the Taliban taking over, you had these warlords, right? And I'm talking about recently, when America was quote unquote in Afghanistan and occupying it to help clean it up. Well, what you're about to learn tonight what America does, right? And I'm saying this because I can't afford nobody that I love. I can't afford nobody that we could use in this community for their talents and skills to get rocked to sleep and put on fatigues and talk about going to fight a war for Uncle Sam like a crash test dummy. And you don't know what the fuck America is really up to. You don't know how dirty their hands are. You don't know. You acting like you might as well stay in the hood and just get down with a fucking drug empire, because you are aiding and abetting a whole drug campaign. You're aiding and abetting some real fucking Big Willie shit that Uncle Sam is the plug. You feel me? Uncle Graham, my nigga. Not Uncle Sam, Uncle Grams. That's what they do. And they're using foot soldiers, mostly melanated men and women. They not putting they white boys on the front line. They taking niggas out the hood and they putting them on the front line. So America, when they invaded Afghanistan under the pretense that they were looking for one of their own, Tim Osman, aka Bin Laden, right? A CIA operative, right? And they used the pretense of Bin Laden to go up in Afghanistan. And they were warned against that. They said, don't go in Afghanistan. Think about it. You know what I mean? You might want to just, you might want to sit down and talk to them people, because historically, right? Historically, Afghanistan is the place where empires go to die, right? Henceforth, the title of the lecture coming up on Thursday, When in Rome, right? And Rome, the empire of Rome fell many times, right? And I'm going to show that the empire of Rome, or Nova Roma, the new Rome that we call America, the same America that you niggas was marching against recently, the same America that's trying to inject you with all type of unknown variants and whatnot, the same America that your mama warned you against, right? The same America that has millions upon millions of people buried in mass graves all up and down this land and whatnot, when they came up in this bitch and they started robbing and taking and raping and pillaging. That same America, right? That America was warned against going up against Afghanistan. These motherfucking goat herders, these mountaineers and whatnot. You feel me? These unsuspecting people, but they was like, yo, it's cursed. Russia went in there and fell. The British went in there and fell. Not only did they fall, their empires fell after they fell. After they lost the campaign, the empires coincidentally fell. Now, America is the newest herb, or America is the newest sacrifice on that chopping block. So there's been a 20-year campaign, right? A 20-year campaign that started during 9/11, right? This is part of what is known as the Bush Doctrine, right? The Bush Doctrine. Where's Little Goddess? Go and give me the Bush Doctrine. Please pull that up, right? The Bush Doctrine, right? We got 1,000 people in the building. Let's get those likes up, please. You know what I'm talking about? Let's get those likes up. Yeah, let's turn it up. The Bush Doctrine is what we see, right? It's the translation. It's a fucking illegal war. Okay. So on the pretenses of a fear campaign that they sold the American public, they went and invaded 2 sovereign countries, right? And basically pillaged the country, destroyed the infrastructure of the country, killed hundreds of thousands of civilians. I read a report years ago that over 500,000 civilians in Iraq alone were murdered at the hands of private contractors and quote unquote the GI Joes, the American military, right? The imperialistic empire, right? Nova Roma. Okay. Bush Doctrine refers to multiple interrelated foreign policy principles of the 43rd president of the United States, George W. Bush. These principles include unilateralism and the use of preemptive war. Do you know what preemptive war means? Preemptive war means I'm gonna bomb your country without proof. I'm gonna go past the UN Council. I'm not gonna abide by international law. I'm just gonna come up in your country and completely take, you know, and take you niggas on a terror campaign. I'm gonna terrorize you under the pretenses of bringing democracy to you, right? Under the pretenses of bringing democracy to you. Where did we hear that before? Where did we hear that before? Did they not come into America and say, you know what we're coming to do? We're coming to civilize you niggas. We're coming to civilize the savages under the pretenses of I'm white and I say so. We're coming to bring the Bible, my niggas. Here's the Bible, here's the cross. But if you don't accept that, here's the sword, nigga. Right? They had the Bible in one hand and they had the sword in one hand. They did not consult with other nations. They did not care that they were coming among sovereign nations. These were the quote unquote Indian tribes and whatnot, all throughout the Americas, Central America, North America, South America. Oh, my bad. What it was called was the doctrine of discovery, right? The doctrine of discovery is the legal paperwork. It's not a little goddess, please, if you may. Doctrine of discovery. Let me read it for them. Okay. All right. Bush doctrine applies to the foreign policy approach that President George W. Bush practiced during his 2 terms, January 2001 to January 2009. It was the basis for the American invasion of Iraq in 2003. Think about it. What was Barack Obama supposed to do in his first week in office? What did the people think that he was going to do? They thought that he was going to bring a war criminal to justice. I remember when he let Bush get on a helicopter, niggas was like, hell no, get that nigga off the helicopter. He's supposed to be in jail. Because it was understood that Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, and George W. were complete, and Condoleezza Rice, these were all, and Colin Powell, these were all war criminals. Yeah, I guess they are cousins. That nigga, he rocked us to sleep. He had us looking stupid. Because remember, and I'm saying I'm not excluding myself. I fell for the Obama, the Bang Dooley, my nigga. I fell for that shit. I thought he was finna come and give niggas some change. The only change he gave us was some fucking change in the cup. Discovery doctrine is a concept of public international law expounded by the U.S. Supreme Court in a series of decisions. No. Dig a little bit deeper, if you may. Okay, the doctrine was Chief Justice John Marshall's explanation of the way in which colonial powers laid claim to newly discovered lands during the Age of Discovery, right? The Age of Discovery. So the Age of Discovery is when they say, oh, we discovered Haiti. We discovered the Dominican Republics. We discovered Cuba, right? We discovered St. Croix, or the quote-unquote Virgin Islands. We discovered St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix. We discovered them, and then we put our flag there, or we put our cross in the ground, and then we named them after saints. St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John, right? Dominican, which named after the Dominican priests, and all of these other places that they laid claim to, but had this shit was not theirs. Oh, there's gold in the land? Yeah, we're gonna claim this shit. We discovered it. No, you did not. No, it's like niggas going on a cruise and whatnot, and then you get off on one of these islands and you like, oh shit, these niggas are growing weed. That's mine. And you start naming strains after yourself and you take over the plants. Nigga, that's not yours. Somebody planted that in the ground. There's a whole civilization living here. Age of Discovery, or the Age of Exploration, is an informal and loosely defined term for the early modern period, approximately from the 15th century to the 18th century in European history. That's when they were pillaging, that's when they were robbing, and the Pope approved of all of that. Right. Going back to what I've said about the quote-unquote Rome, the Roman Catholic Church. This is when in Rome. When I speak of Rome, I'm speaking mostly of the Holy See. I'm speaking mostly of the cross and the crown, the collaboration between the quote-unquote the Roman Catholic Church and the empires in which they were in bed with. The Spanish Empire, the Portuguese Empire, and others. And they and they spread terror throughout the lands for hundreds and hundreds of years. Henceforth, why we find ourselves where we are today. Henceforth, why every single country that I could call third world that's suffering right now are majority Roman Catholic. Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba, right? Where the places where the most sex trafficking is taking place is majority Roman Catholic. The places where the child trafficking is at an all-time high is mostly Roman Catholic. The place where the LGBT is running rampant is mostly Roman Catholic countries. Brazil. Brazil. I have the list. I'll show you the list. I got it all. It's the top 10 places to visit, and they all dealing with the Roman principles. You feel me? The Age of Discovery overview. During the 15th and 16th centuries, Europeans broke out of their continent that they were basically confined to that shit. Like, you can't leave here, but they broke out and they went to explore, trade, conquer, and colonize throughout Africa, Asia, and the new continent of America. By 1600, only Australia remained unknown to Europeans. And then we know what happened to Australia after they found it, right? After the British found it, we know what happens to Australia, and the Tasmanian population got wiped out, right? And it says Tasmanian, right? Israel is the gay capital of the world. Yes, indeed. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Tel Aviv. And I broke that down as well. You know what I'm saying? And I'll also show you how Rome is directly tied into Israel, regardless of this whole quote unquote Jewish state. The people that came to populate Israel coming out of Germany and whatnot, those German Jews and whatnot, I could show you the connection in that. Okay. So the native Australian people is black. The Native Americans are black. The Native Australians are black. You know what I mean? The Native Haitians, the Native, these all were melanated people. These all were melanated people. You feel me? Haiti is going through trouble, not because of Rome. Well, keep in mind, Haiti, with the majority Roman Catholic population, they're turning their backs on their quote unquote tradition. They're turning their backs on their quote unquote ancestors that have been with them when the fucking Roman Catholic Church was not with them. They're persecuting the spiritual systems in Haiti. They're persecuting the spiritual systems in Jamaica. They're persecuting the spiritual systems in Cuba. They're persecuting these systems. Do you understand? To worship the beast. They're not coagulating it. They're not combining it. They're not utilizing it. They're not becoming crypto quote unquote spiritualists, and on the forefront they're just acting like they're religious, and then behind closed doors they putting in that juju and that work. No, these niggas is going fully religious. They're going fully religious. You don't think that has any ramifications, my friend? You don't think that has no ramifications? Okay. Keep disrespecting the spirit world. Keep acting up and act like nobody is looking at you niggas. You niggas keep stay on your knees. You know what I mean? Keep touching your toes for Rome and stay on your knees and see what kind of fate you niggas are gonna be delivered. You see what kind of fate you're gonna be delivered. This is about standing on your fucking square. You know what I'm talking about? This is about standing up. And like I said, everywhere that you turn, is showing you the walls are closing in. Either you about this life or you niggas is just gonna be slaves. Either you about this life or you're not. If you about this life, the walls are closing in. They coming to jab everybody. What you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Because the time to play around, you niggas is on the internet playing internet games, mentally masturbating all your life. You are going to be called to see what the fuck are you really about in the upcoming months. They're gonna test your fucking chin. They're gonna test your chin to see if you about what you say you about. The ancestors want to see if you about that life. These people, Rome, want to see if you about that life. Everybody want to see. And when I'm looking at what these people in Afghanistan did, they are about their God is not going to punish them. Their God is not going to turn their backs on them. Their God is not going to shut it. Their God is working for them. Their God, whoever the fuck they pray to, whatever God that they pray to, because these are some orthodox religious motherfuckers. You understand? You can't even twerk in Afghanistan right now. You understand? You can't even twerk in Afghanistan. You can't be with that debauchery right now. Based off of the doctrine, they're going to try to bring in Sharia law. They on some wasabi-ish. You know, I'm not co-signing. I'm not a fucking Afghanistan. I'm not Taliban, nigga. But I could recognize the fact that these people are staying true to something that they believe in. They knocked. Remember when America came in, they was knocking all of them down. They only grew bigger and stronger. You niggas in America can't claim no victories like that. You niggas are known for marching. Fuck out of here. You don't talk about the black people in America. You niggas are known for marching and twerking in front of the police. You have a long way to go. While they out here snatching babies out of niggas' arms, disrespecting the family, shooting people down, all kind of crazy shit. There's no pushback. So when I see revolution, when I see people standing up, when I see people standing up for something, I gotta acknowledge that. Because if we only had us to look at, this shit would be a sad fucking movie to be watching. You understand? You gotta have something to inspire you. You need to have some type of measurement. Niggas don't have nothing. What's your measurement? Nat Turner? How could you measure where you at? You just, oh, niggas is reveling over Nat Turner or what they did in 1804. No, niggas, 2021. You need to pull some examples out of the fucking, you know what I mean? Out of the hamper. You need to pull up something to be like, you know what? You see how they moving? I'm finna study these niggas. Back in the days, our parents, when they was on a revolutionary shit, they was studying Che. They was studying Castro, right? The Panthers was walking around with Mao Zedong. They was studying revolutionaries, and they was dealing. They was trying to figure out what the fuck did they do to work to help them out, so they could implement some of those tenets to help get them out of the bind that they're in right now. But what fucked us up? Opium, crack. They went and scooped up the real Panthers. They went and scooped up the front line. Asada went on a run, and the ones that lingered around became crackheads and dope fiends. Not all of them. I'm saying that we know from experience and from what if a nigga out there sold crack, you was selling crack to old Panthers. You was selling crack to niggas from the 70s, old revolutionaries. You know what I mean? Niggas was fornicating with black women who used to be on the front line. Fuck is you talking about? In the 80s and the 90s, when you niggas decided to sell crack as teenagers to older people, those older people that you were selling crack to and you was taking advantage of, those were revolutionaries. Those were the conscious community from that day. But they fell. And what helped them fall? The chemical war that they imposed upon our people. That's how they fell. That motherfucking heroin, because the heroin became before the crack. The heroin came before the crack. Did you know that? And niggas is still proud about that. The culture is still built on people bragging. The culture is still built, the hip hop culture is still built on people bragging about the fact that they helped pillage their community. Now I know somebody be like, well, y'all niggas be talking about the locks and you be talking about the Dipset. I talk about the locks, and I said it before. The only reason that you would hear me really hold the locks up in some type of, and hold them to a higher standard is because the members of the locks have evolved and publicly have come out and was like, nah, that shit that we was on back in the day, we can't stand on that. We don't promote that way of life. As a matter of fact, I'm opening up juice bars. As a matter of fact, I'm getting down with the bartenders to help you niggas get your health back. As a matter of fact, I'm publicly denouncing shit like that. I'm not standing on that in my 40s and whatnot. This is some shit that we was on when we was in our 20s and 30s. It's understandable. We was all under the spell. It's just, if you niggas is still trying to keep up, if you in your 40s trying to keep up with fucking teenagers right now, you're a goofy. You know what I'm talking about? You're super goofy. And I wouldn't even acknowledge you. I wouldn't even acknowledge you. And I told you niggas before the battle was even gonna happen. The Dipset was finna get washed just because of the mentality. I know where we at in this time juncture. I know what the fucking next chapter of the movie is supposed to look like. So I'm like, yo, nah, real niggas is back. You know what I mean? Especially men who stand on something. They're gonna wash niggas that don't stand on something. Any day you could walk over these niggas as doormats. You can't stand on that shit no more in 2021. You niggas are still standing on gangbanging and dope dealing and being prostitutes. That's not it, my nigga. Here's the memo. You know what I mean? Here's your wake-up call. That ain't it. That ain't it. You niggas out here living your third childhood. You was not popping in the 90s. You wasn't outside in 2000s. In 2000, nobody knew a large majority of my timeline. I never seen these niggas until last week. And they mad old trying to be teenagers again. They because they didn't live, they did not exhaust that part of their existence. They did not experience that because they was inside, nigga. I'm here to let you know. I was everywhere. These niggas were never there. Let's be clear. You know what I'm talking about? Let's be clear. So that's what you see. Ladies, I feel bad for y'all that y'all have to entertain fucking grown men who are trying to mimic Little Baby or trying to be 42 Doug. You know what I mean? In 2021. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad for y'all that y'all have to entertain these grown ass fucking children. And as a result, because people be talking about a gender war. I'm like, nigga, I know why the war is happening. I could understand why the war is happening. These niggas don't have their shit together because the culture has not grown up. So eventually it's going to fucking come to a head. And that's where we're at, where our natural fucking our natural opposites, they can't stand us. And then we wind up creating, you think women are born savages? You think they came outside savage? No, they were created like, they've been turned into savages. They've been turned into savages because niggas was doing them savage during the Dipset era. I seen it. They was doing them savage during the roughneck era, during the hardcore era. You know what I mean? During the dope fiend era and the dope dealer and the trapping and all of these stupid shit, the women was being treated like doormats. They were not held up. They were not honored. They were not respected. They took that, they thought that abuse was fucking love until they ran into real love. They didn't even know what that shit was. They don't even know what it is to get a fucking hug, to be loved on. They like, nah, choke me out and snuff me and just, go crazy on me. I'm like, nah, like, y'all need love. You don't talk about Siri, play LL. Love. This shit doesn't come out of nowhere. It didn't come out of a vacuum, bro. We have to take responsibility for the ball that was dropped. We could still pick it up. It's not too late. We lost a few percentages, but it ain't too late, nigga. You don't talk about. It ain't too late. I promise you, the culture has a lot to do with where we're at. And I'm not here to shame the culture because we all go through phases. You feel me? It ain't the end of the fucking world. We are chameleons. We are always going to be able to revert back to our original self. What is our original self? I had told, I spent multiple episodes trying to share with you what our original self was. When I came up, we was listening to pop music. We was playing fucking hopscotch, Skelly. You know what I mean? We were not on demon time. We were not demonic like that. You understand? We were made to be like that through poverty, right? Poverty consciousness created that. Feeling like we were have-nots, being lied to. The fucking school system destroyed our self-confidence and our self-esteem and told us that we was goddamn slaves, my nigga. They fucked us up. They traumatized us. You understand? We were children who would go outside. We was catching fucking fireflies, nigga. We were innocent before crack. This is BC. And then the guns came. You know what I mean? Niggas' egos got into shit. Money started coming. And that root, the money was dirty money. It was blood money. It wasn't like we was inventing shit. It wasn't like we had created a fucking corporation and niggas just got rich off of stocks. It wasn't like we was selling, you know, it wasn't like we were inheriting companies from our parents. No, niggas was selling heroin. They was selling opium and dope because those poppy seeds coming from Afghanistan, the cocaine coming out of the jungles of Colombia, it's already cursed. It's already cursed. Do you know that Pablo Escobar and them niggas used to do rituals on the cocaine before they shipped it out? Do you know there was a documentary on Pablo Escobar and they said that the original name of his crew was called, I don't know the Spanish term, but the Invisibles. The motherfuckers was called the Invisibles. Why were they called the Invisibles? Because they was into some type of magic where these motherfuckers was able to pop up and they was able, they were doing rituals over the bricks to make them invisible. And when it came to them killing their enemies, it was even said that these niggas would just pop up on niggas and murk them. They was like, yo, the hitters was on some mystical shit. Then go to Afghanistan with the poppy and whatnot. Go to Vietnam with the poppy and whatnot. You'll hear, if you really pay attention and talk to people, you'll hear the mystical side, the occult side of the drug game, right? So I was told by a person to smoke crack before, right? No, a nigga that sold crack to a crackhead. He was like, fam, when I used to sell the crack, I would look at the crackhead hit the shit like for the first time. He said that there was a white smoke that would come out of the fucking pipe. He was like, the shit was like cocaine white. He was like, the smoke that came out of the pipe was more than just smoke. It was like a spirit. And as you know, these niggas are always chasing that first hit, right? So is there a level of possession through the plants, right? Because you mixing the plants with fucking gasoline and all of these other shits that you cutting with. Is there a level of possession with the plants? Is there some type of demonic possession the crack rock has? You understand? And you can't sell it, and you can't sell dope, and you can't sell crack, and you can't sell many of these chemical drugs. I'm not talking about weed per se. If you're not cutting it with chemicals, I'm talking about the lab-grown chemical shit. You fuck with it, you know. After a while, you don't know who's the fiend. You don't know who's the fiend. You know you can't even touch that shit without wearing a glove or you get fucked up. After a while, the line between the fiend and the dealer gets blurred. You the fiend for the money. You the fiend for the rush. You a fiend to your ego. You a fiend, you become a fiend to your fears. And then you created a zombie. You help facilitate the creation of a zombie out of your own people. And like I said, a lot of the crackheads were freedom fighters, conscious people, poets, authors, frontliners, motherfucking civil rights niggas. And they were traumatized because of the era that they came up in. Remember, these niggas seen They had to sit in the back of the bus. They used to get chased home by Italians and Jews and Irish and whatnot. They was traumatized. You niggas were not as traumatized as your parents and some of the old heads that turned into crackheads and dope fiends and whatnot. They smoking off that trauma. And they mamas didn't hug them, and their father wasn't there, or he didn't hug them, and because they was dealing with Jim Crow South. They was dealing with crackers running down, and they saw their papas hanging. They fathers died, like how Malcolm X lost his father at 6 years old. They were traumatized. So what is drugs? Drugs are escapism. You stressed out, you hurt, you got a hole in your heart, you never got a hug and whatnot. You saw your mama prostituting, you saw your mama getting high and whatnot. Your mama neglected you, your father neglected you. That's called mama issues, father issues, core issues. And then what happens? We turn to the quote unquote opiate. We turn to the drugs to numb us. Billie Holiday was like, she had to get on the dope in order to numb her because she had got raped when she was a little child, and her mama basically turned her back on her because she was a sex worker and gave it to the grandmother, and all kind of abuse happened, and then people were taking advantage of her. So the fucking drugs were there to numb her, right? The drugs were there to numb her. So it's like when we look at these sentencing to Joe Biden and everybody with the crime bill, and niggas is getting 80 years and 100 years and 50 and 40 and whatnot. Yes, that is the wrong thing. I think that all of that should be overturned. But think about it on a karmatic spiritual level, the spirit and the karma, right? The fact that people have been put away so long is tied into your karma. It's tied into the shit that some of you motherfuckers was doing. And even if you were not doing it, vicariously somebody around you, or just the motherfucking crack in it of itself was so destructive, and it has so much blood on it that you niggas pay for that. You pay for that. That's a spiritual, the spirit world is knocking niggas down and giving them football sentences, and the white boy is just administering it. You know what I'm talking about? The white judge or the DA, they're just puppets. Remember, Europeans are walkthroughs. They get possessed. They are like fucking chess pieces. You understand? They could be controlled. Those are chess pieces. You understand? But you need to really look and see the spiritual aspect of the wrongs that may have done, and how you may have to pay for it by sitting down for 30 and 40 years and whatnot. I keep telling you that crack shit was deep, and motherfuckers don't be listening. That crack shit was it was very deep. It was very deep. A lot of y'all probably wasn't there, and I might be even preaching to the choir, because I'm sure that there was people that's watching this that grew up in these households. There was that hopped off of the porch at a young age, and you was misdirected. You know what I'm talking about? That's all Rome, my nigga. This is all Roman. It was by design. So I'm not here that nobody is to be judged. I'm never going to judge nobody coming out of poverty and doing what the fuck they had to do to get out of poverty. And you were ignorant to what the fuck was going on around you, because we was not taught about the machine like that. We were not taught about the system like that. We was not given deep history by the people in our hood. Yeah, we had griots, we had elders and master teachers, but everybody wasn't plugged in like that. Niggas was watching Menace, Boys in the Hood, listening to Scarface and Ice Cube and Eazy-E and motherfucking Biggie and everybody else that was telling them fuck bitches and get money. Pimp C, Bun B, 3-6 Mafia. Like, look, I'm not here to judge nobody. I love my people. We could all bounce back from whatever situations that we've been through, because none of us is perfect. I am here as an imperfect being, letting you know I'm very transparent to tell you my trials and tribulations of how the fuck I got in front of you to sit on this couch to talk to you tonight. It was not an easy road. I'm still traumatized. You don't talk about, it was not an easy road. Even with the decisions that I made to not be involved in the drug game, it still was hard. I lost years of my life. You feel me? I'm just getting my shit back together and getting in the good graces of people in my family and whatnot by being an upstanding fucking citizen. But prior to that, it wasn't a good look for me. I buried a whole bunch of people that I miss to this day. You know what I mean? that I don't even feel right because they not around, they not with me. I seen a lot of people throw their lives away. So many people. Like, niggas is dysfunctional. Real talk. Niggas is dysfunctional. But we still have to be able to move and function and pray that our children don't suffer the fate that we suffered. Henceforth, while we go hard like this. I will not watch my children suffer through the shit that I suffered through. They need their own rites of passage. Their rites of passage don't have to be going to Rikers Island. Their rites of passage don't have to be getting jumped into a gang. Their rites of passage don't have to be cutting somebody in the face. Their rites of passage don't have to be robbing niggas on a train and shit like that. That's not going to be the rites of passage for my son. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Yeah, we got the sins of the father. What do? They fall on the child. So I do my community service to clean up my record, to clean up my quote unquote aura, to clean up whatever the fuck, whatever infractions and karma that I got on me. I'm doing the best that I can to make sure that none of that falls on my progeny or my family members. And to this day, I'm thankful and I'm blessed and I honor my ancestors and I give thanks that I'm able to wake up and breathe and I'm still healthy. Real talk. That's nothing to fucking frown at. Sometimes I gotta check myself. Be like, nigga, you got it made. You know what I'm talking about? Stop comparing yourself. You got it made. So respect what you got, because if you imagine if that shit was taken, if it was taken from you, then what? You know what I mean? Then what? Comparison is the thief of joy. And what does social media set you up for? Comparison. You know what I mean? What does internet shit set you up for? Comparison. What does being outside can set you up for? Comparisons. That's a fact. So let's get back to America, right? Let's get back to America, and let me give you this lesson that of a clandestine government, right? This shows you one side of its face, right? This is Harvey Dent. This America is Harvey Dent. They show you one side of their face in public, but behind the scenes in other countries, or behind the scenes in a clandestine way, or behind the scenes when they're in the foreign lands, or behind the scenes when they're running with fucking Uncle Sam and all of these G.I. Joes who are hired killers, right? They are toppling governments. They're spreading terror, and they're doing all kind of wicked shit in the name of your people, in the name of this flag, and in the name of this nation and whatnot. So you even have to be very careful about that flag that you drape, and the fact that you're a proud American, and then you're like, you know what? They have to do what they got to do in order for me to have optimum fucking cable and McDonald's, right? A lot of people around the world are pushing back. Afghanistan, the Taliban said, take your pornography, take your McDonald's, take your fucking twerking, take BET, take all of that shit, put it on a plane, get the fuck out of here and never come back. I'm not mad at them for that. I'm not mad at them for that. I'm really not mad at them for that. China is like, we're going to build a wall. We putting up a firewall. We don't want WorldStar over here. We don't want YouTube. We don't want Facebook. We don't want none of that. And I'm not mad at them for that. This is a fucking cancer, bro. Americanism, Americana, that's what they do when they go and conquer these countries. They bring the same thing that they did when they put niggas on ships. They pulled up in a ship with trinkets. They went to the Indians with little stupid shit like this. Yeah, look. Here's a nail cutter. Here's a washcloth. Here's glass. They was giving the fucking niggas mirrors, and the Indians was like, oh, I could see myself. And then they was like, what you got? And the Indians was like, you know, we got these gold nuggets. You know what I mean? We got silver. We got gold. We don't, you know, it's so much of it. It's just whatever. Oh, we got women with big breasts. You want to marry her? And they was like, for real? They was like, yeah, take my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Have a fun with her. Have fun. Here's some lube, nigga. Natural. No, you don't need lube. She's wop. You know what I mean? You want some feathers? Matter of fact, you want some slaves? We got these niggas over here that we have beef with and we holding them captive and whatnot. You want them? So that's how they began to barter and trade. Fast forward to where we're at right now, America will come into a foreign country. That's why they have to subjugate places like Haiti and keep them third world. How the fuck is paradise and third world at the same time? Please riddle me this. How is Jamaica paradise, but it's third world? How is Puerto Rico paradise, but it's third world? I'm on a plane going to Puerto Rico. They selling the white people paradise, but I got to go to third world. How is paradise third world? And once again, like I said, who's the culprits? It's Rome, the Roman Church. The Roman Catholic Church is behind that. The Jesuits are behind that. American corporations are behind that, right? How does Haiti live in a predicament that they live in? But everybody want to tell me about all of the riches and all of the iridium and the gold and the oil and all of this stuff. And I'm like, fam, do you see what's going on? You come from Jamaica and you see the condition that Jamaica is in, but you know the natural resources that Jamaica got. You know what Jamaica got. You know how rich they are. So you come from there and then you come in America, but every single day your purpose is not to topple fucking Rome in your homeland? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm talking about everywhere where they have subjugated our people. Niggas should be, I couldn't sleep. I can't walk around the United States of America and just sell my little weed and act like everything is okay, or do my little RN work. I'm registered nurse and I'm taking care of wiping old white men's fucking diaper and whatnot while my people at home suffering. I'm sending them barrels of clothes when I could do more. Nah. How is it third world and paradise at the same time? You go to Dominican Republic, they don't want you to leave the resort, right? They're like, yo, we'll bring women to you, right? The Europeans control the resort. This is colonialism and imperialism 101. I would never go to a resort and support that. I can't do it. I can't do it. That's blasphemous. That's blasphemous. So they got our people playing this stupid ass materialistic fucking game, and the ancestors, the Maroons who died, was hung on stakes and burnt and heads chopped off and had to fight. You think they happy? You think that Haitian spiritual system that helped get niggas out of this bond? You think that they happy that you niggas come to America just to wear polo and stunt? You think they happy about that? You think that the Dominican Pantheon is happy that you niggas just came to America to sell cocaine? Right? Not everybody, but you know, that was a large push. Puerto Rican, that was a large push. They came to America. The Jamaicans, they came to America and was putting people, you know, in zombie mode. They was spreading motherfucking violence. They had their hands in that. They helped to tank, right? They helped to tank the quote unquote way of life, right? Where they left their homeland and they went other places and helped to fucking, they plugged in. I'm not blaming them because that was the way of life around them. I'm not blaming, nobody just came and got on a plane and was like, I'm gonna go to another country and help raise the fucking crime rate. Once again, crimes of poverty. Crimes of poverty. We are all suffering from it. We are all suffering from it. And like I said, They are dividing and conquering us. Just the fact that we call ourselves Jamaicans and Haitians and Trinidadians and Panamanians and Crucians and all of this stupid shit. When we have a natural opposition that are in our homelands, pillaging to this day, raping to this day, lying to this day, spreading falsehoods to this day, molesting children to this day, dealing with pedophilia to this day, spreading their diseases to this day. And nobody has a problem with that. So I want to show you, right? So we don't have to deal with speculation. I want to show you how America plays. So we could break this spell that so many of us are under called Americanism and Americana, to whereas you'll fight your brother, or you'll believe these people before you believe us, or you'll pledge allegiance to these motherfuckers because they give you a visa or they give you access to McDonald's and whatnot before you get with us. And you say, you know what, let's put our minds together and let's topple this shit. Let's figure out a way to get our homeland right. Let's get on some Taliban mentality. Let's push these crazy bald heads out of town. The fate of Rome is going to be crazy. The Nova Roma, which is America, the fate of this bitch is going to be outstanding because of the things that they've done. This is a wicked place and it will not stand long. I promise you. Okay? And when the shit is falling, don't ask questions as to why it's falling. Understand that Rome always has to fall. You understand? Don't hold on to this bitch, because in order for this bitch has to fall for something else to rise up. But this is a wicked place. Okay? It's a pig with motherfucking lipstick on. Don't fall for the matrix. Don't fall for the illusion. Don't fall for the trinkets. Don't fall for the motherfucking mirror that they coming over here with and giving them gold. They giving you cotton balls and mirrors, and you niggas is giving them gold. We giving them our life force. We giving them our freedom. We giving them our sacred bodies and whatnot. We giving them our sweat equity. We're giving them our youth, our young, that they eat their young in Rome. They're eating our young. Okay? They're eating our young. So this is what they don't teach in school, right? This is what they don't want the children to learn. And for all of my homeschoolers, I salute you. It is not easy. You know what I mean? Y'all should be treated better. You know what I mean? Y'all should be held on a higher standard. But anyway, 35 countries where the U.S. has supported fascists, drug lords, and terrorists. Let's go, right? Afghanistan. In the 1980s, the U.S. worked with Pakistan and Saudi Arabia to overthrow Afghanistan's social government. It funded the socialist government. It funded, trained, and armed forces led by conservative tribal leaders whose power was threatened by their country's progress on education, women's rights, and land reform. So this democratic government, this talk about they all about women's rights and got women, you know, oh, we feminists and oh, America, oh, they're respecting our rights and this is the land where women could be women. And no, okay, well, what they've done is that they've helped other regimes suppress the divine feminine. They've backed other regimes because what they do is they just play into the quote unquote, you know, I'm going to play into whatever interests these motherfuckers have. We'll play into their interests as long as these people come into power, because on a geopolitical standard, we can't allow a socialist government in Afghanistan to exist. We can't allow a communist government. We can't allow anything other than a demonocracy, right? Or a puppet regime that we control. But we rather sometimes dictatorships, because we could do a lot of our dirt, especially if it's a narco state. We could do a lot of dirt over there. We could get away with a lot of shit. We could murder. We could rape the land. We could rip the resources out. There's so many things that they do. But let me continue. It funded, trained, and armed forces led by conservative tribal leaders whose power was threatened by their country's progress on education, women's rights, and land reform. After Mikhail Gorbachev withdrew Soviet forces in 1989, these US-backed warlords tore the country apart and boosted opium production to an unprecedented level of 2,000 to 3,400 tons per year. The Taliban government cut opium production by 95% in 2 years between 1999 and 2001. But the US invasion in 2001 restored the warlords and drug lords to power. Afghanistan now ranks 175th out of 177 countries in the world for corruption, 175th out of 186 in human development, and since 2004, it has produced an unprecedented 5,300 tons of opium per year. President Karzai's brother, Ahmed Wali Karzai, was well known as a CIA-backed drug lord. After a major U.S. offensive in Kandahar province in 2011, Colonel Abdul Razik was appointed provisional police chief, boosting a heroin smuggling operation that already earned him $60 million per year in one of the poorest countries in the world. Albania. Between 1949 and 1953, the US and the UK set out to overthrow the government of Albania, the smallest and most vulnerable communist country in Eastern Europe. Exiles were recruited and trained to return to Albania to stir up dissent and plan an armed uprising. Many of the exiles involved in the plan were former collaborators with the Italian and German occupation during World War II. They included former Interior Minister Zexfer Diva, who oversaw the deportation of Jews, communist partisans, and suspicious persons to Auschwitz. Declassified U.S. documents have since revealed that Diva was one of the 743 fascist war criminals recruited by the U.S. after the war, right? Absorb your enemy and have them work for you. Okay, absorb the enemy and have them work for you, right? Classic. Argentina, U.S. documents declassified in 2003 detail conversations between U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger and Argentinian Foreign Minister Admiral Guzzetti in October 1976, soon after the military junta seized power in Argentina. Kissinger explicitly approved the junta's dirty war, in which it eventually killed up to 30,000, most of them young people, and stole 400 children from the families of their murdered parents. Kissinger told Guzzetti, "Look, our basic attitude is that we like you to succeed. The quicker you succeed, the better." The U.S. ambassador in Buenos Aires reported that Guzzetti returned in a state of jubilation, convinced that there is no real problem with the U.S. government over that issue. Brazil. In 1964, General Castillo Branco led a coup that sparked 20 years of brutal military dictatorship. U.S. military attaché Vernon Walters, later deputy CIA director and UN ambassador, knew Castillo Branco well from World War II in Italy. As a clandestine CIA officer, Walters' records from Brazil have never been declassified, but the CIA provided all the support needed to ensure the success of the coup, including funding for opposition labor and student groups and street protests, as in Ukraine and Venezuela today. A U.S. Marine amphibious force on standby to land in Sao Paulo was not needed. Like other victims of U.S.-backed coups in Latin America, the elected president, while Golort was a wealthy landowner, not a communist, but his efforts to remain neutral in the Cold War were as unacceptable to Washington as President Yanukovych's refusal to hand the Ukraine over to the West 50 years later. Cambodia. When President Nixon ordered the secret and illegal bombing of Cambodia in 1969, American pilots were ordered to falsify their logs to conceal their crimes. They killed at least 500,000 Cambodians, dropping more bombs than on Germany and Japan combined in World War II, right? As the, I might be pronouncing this wrong, but as the Khmer Rouge gained strength in 1973, the CIA reported that its propaganda has been most effective among refugees subjected to B-52 strikes. After they killed at least 2 million of their own people, they were finally driven out by the Vietnamese army in 1965. The U.S. Kampuchea Emergency Group, based in the U.S. Embassy in Bangkok, set out to feed and supply them as the resistance to the new Vietnamese-backed Cambodian government. Under U.S. pressure, the World Food Program provided $12 million to feed 20,000 to 40,000 Khmer Rouge soldiers. For at least another decade, the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency provided the Khmer Rouge with satellite intelligence, while the U.S. and British Special Forces trained them to lay millions of landmines across Western Cambodia, which still killed or maimed hundreds of people per year. Chile. When Salvador Allende became president in 1970, President Nixon promised to make the economy scream in Chile. The U.S., Chile's largest trading partner, cut off trade to cause shortages and economic chaos. The CIA and State Department had conducted sophisticated propaganda operations in Chile for a decade, funding conservative politicians, parties, unions, student groups, and all forms of media, while expanding ties with the military. After General Pinochet seized power, the CIA kept Chilean officials on the payroll and worked closely with Chile's DINA intelligence agency as the military government killed thousands of people and jailed and tortured tens of thousands more. Meanwhile, the Chicago Boys, under over 100 Chilean students sent by a State Department program to study under Milton Friedman at the University of Chicago, launched a radical program of privatization, deregulation, and neoliberal policies that kept the economy screaming for most Chileans throughout Pinochet's 16-year military dictatorship. Now, I'm not going to go through every single country because the list goes on and on. That's right. I'll be reading all of this stuff on the lecture on Thursday, but I'm going to breeze through the countries to let you see it. China, right? America had their hands in China, right? And atrocities in China, right? They were working alongside the Chinese to fight against the communists that were in northern China. 100,000 U.S. troops at the end of 1945, right? And still got their asses kicked. Colombia, Cuba, we know about El Salvador, right? France, Ghana, right? They had their hand in the assassination of Kwame Nkrumah, and by a result of that, they basically they turned Ghana upside down from the progression that they were making all the way back in the 60s. Greece, Guatemala, Haiti. Almost 200 years after the slave rebellion that created the nation of Haiti and defeated Napoleon's armies, the long-suffering people of Haiti finally elected a truly democratic government led by Father Jean Aristide in 1991. But President Aristide was overthrown by a U.S.-backed military coup after 8 months in office. And the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, not the CIA. You don't hear about the DIA. The DIA recruited a paramilitary force called FRAP, right? F-R-A-P-H, FRAP, to target and destroy Aristide Lavala's movement in Haiti. The CIA put FRAP's leader, Emmanuel Toto Constant, on his payroll and shipped in weapons from Florida. When President Clinton sent a U.S. occupation force to restore Aristide to office in 1994, FRAP members detained by U.S. forces were freed on orders from Washington, and the CIA maintained FRAP as a criminal gang to undermine Aristide and Lavalas. After Aristide was elected president a second time in 2000, a force of 200 U.S. Special Forces trained 600 former FRAP members and others in the Dominican Republic to prepare for a second coup. In 2004, they launched a campaign of violence to destabilize Haiti, which provided the pretext for U.S. forces to land in Haiti and remove Aristide from office, right? You got Honduras, Indonesia, Iran, Israel, which they helped. This is not about them. They helped Israel, right? Just as the U.S. uses its economic and military power, its sophisticated propaganda system, and its position as a permanent member on the UN Security Council to violate international law with impunity, it also uses the same tools to shield its ally Israel from accountability from international crimes. Since 1966, the U.S. has used its Security Council veto 83 times. That's more than the other 4 permanent members combined, and 42 of those vetoes have been on resolutions related to Israel and or Palestine. Just last week, Amnesty International published a report that Israeli forces have displayed a callous disregard for human life by killing dozens of Palestine civilians, including children, in the occupied West Bank over the past 3 years with total impunity, right? You got Iraq, you got Korea, you got Laos, you got Libya, Mexico, Myanmar, Nicaragua, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Panama, Philippines, Syria, Uruguay, Yugoslavia, Zaire. Yeah, that part, right? That part. So the imperialistic empire of America, the USA, is by proxy an extension of the Roman Empire, right? And there's so many more receipts that I'm going to share with you. I'm just scratching the surface. I don't put anything above and beyond the capabilities of the CIA. I don't put anything above the capabilities of this quote unquote government and the lengths that they will go to destabilize countries and remove quote unquote political regimes and whatnot, carry out executions, and even cause natural disasters such as hurricanes, tornadoes, and even earthquakes. Because I've been told that earthquakes could actually be caused by fracking, offshore drilling and whatnot on the tectonic plates. And that's what they've been doing in Haiti when they've been sucking all of that motherfucking oil up after they found it, after they discover it after the last quote unquote the last disaster that took place in 2010. Right? This is the website that I just was reading from. If anybody want to know, this is the website. Go and get the article. I'm not holding no information. We all are in class. As I learn, you learn. As I learn, I'm sharing it. It don't benefit me any to hold on to this information because we have to educate ourselves. We got to educate ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. More than half. Yeah. Bush Sr. was CIA. Exactly. The first George W. Right? The fourth. So whenever you see somebody coming out of the CIA and they getting into government, just know that you're dealing with somebody that's on. They on demon time forever. They on demon time forever. This is a bankrupt. The spirit of this country is bankrupt. Right? The things that they do, their foreign policy, in order to, the chess game that they play. They have many reasons for playing this chess game, right? They do not want to see brown countries rise up. They don't want to see countries that have historical, quote unquote, narratives and whatnot. They don't want to see them come up. They don't want to see these old empires stand up. They damn sure don't want to see no empires that are going to try to come over here and, help niggas by giving us the truth. Remember, the Chinese Empire, Iran, Persia, who's been basically intact they're scared of Persia because Persia they haven't been basically, They preserved a lot of information. You don't think that they know who we are? You don't think that while they were in Persia, they was paying attention to niggas in America or what the plight of the Moors and whatnot in the Ottoman Empire? You don't think that they have books and you don't think that they have scrolls? You don't think that they have hidden keys that can help those of us who are searching for an identity to find out who the fuck we are? That's where a lot of our issues come from, especially us in this land of America. We don't know who the fuck we are. We're still searching for an identity. The Taliban, they know who they are. The people in Afghanistan, they know who they are. They're standing on something. You understand? They was recruiting people from all over. Come on in, my niggas. Come and fight the Mujahideen, the jihadis. People from Jamaica want to stun on the ADOS. Then the FBA want to stun on the foreigners. Oxtail Twitter, they call it. And there's all of this contention, and we don't know who we are. There's an identity crisis. And for people who know who they are, they try to make fun of us. Oh, you niggas don't know who you are. You don't have no daddy. You're orphans. You don't have no mama. You come out of nowhere. You niggas are slaves. You know what I'm saying? And that's the contention. But what is this contention stopping any of us from really doing? It's stopping us from doing the work of our ancestors, and that's getting ourselves back in a position to where we could own some shit, where we could dictate the way that the fucking Taliban, them niggas told America, get the fuck out. And America didn't get out fast enough, and they pushed them out. They pushed them out. America could never go back into Afghanistan. America can't even go back into that region ever. They can never go back into that region with their chest out. They could never go back into that region with their chest out. They've been handed one of the illest defeats of this time, my niggas. That is a black eye right there. They look super goofy. They can't go nowhere in the Middle East. They can't go beating up on no. They are banned, right? These niggas are banned from TV. They are banned from TV. You know what I'm talking about? They are banned from TV. You can't. They're gonna take out their frustration on niggas at home. I promise you. They need somebody to punk because they wasn't able to punk them sand niggas. They was not able to punk them sand niggas. So let's watch a video.
I do think that there's a lot breaking down. I absolutely do not think January 6th is the high water mark. Of course not. Do I think something like this will happen again at some point?
I'm sorry, so rude of me. The name of this video is How America Can Fall Like Rome. The name of this video that I'm showing you right here is How America Can Fall Like Rome. Right? How America Can Fall Like Rome. Right? Y'all can hear it though. Y'all can hear the volume. I'm finna play it for you right now. You said they're getting their heroin from Mexico. They don't need Afghanistan no more. I don't know about that, fam. Shit. They was getting a lot of work from Afghanistan. Are you serious? Afghanistan was the super plug for the low.
I do think that there's a lot breaking down. I absolutely do not think January 6th is the high water mark. Of course not. Do I think something like this will happen again at some point in the next 10 years? Yeah, absolutely I do. If a political system does not come down hard on this kind of anti-constitutional, anti-democratic attempt to overturn the results of an election. What do you do with that? If you can get away with it, you're just going to keep doing it. When people say this is the end of the Roman Empire, that's when I say, I don't think that that's true. This is not a situation where we are entering total state collapse and there's going to be like a kingdom of California. I think that would be overblown. The United States as an entity will continue on. But when you're talking about its political system, what does American democracy look like? What does representative government look like? Participatory government look like? Which the Romans had. For 500 years, the Romans had like a fairly participatory system because those guys did still have to troll for votes. They still needed to win elections in order to get ahead. So I think that there are things that we can talk about in terms of the political system transitioning from representative democracy to an autocratic regime. The United States of America, which is of course modeled on the Roman Republican system, has institutions just like Rome did with the consulship and with the tribunate, where if you just start vesting power and authority in one part of that system, you can keep the window dressing of a House of Representatives and a Senate and a Supreme Court, but we see this in sort of constitutional dictatorships with the window dressing of democracy, but actually it's just an autocracy. The American political system is well primed to move towards a presidential autocracy, right? The office of the presidency and the executive branch, the institutional framework is there for that office and the White House to become something like a truly imperial presidency, not just as a metaphor, but truly an imperial presidency that will come when these ambitious people and these ambitious politicians really just throw elections out the window and it all just becomes a power grab free-for-all where power is all that matters and nothing else does. And you take that mentality, which I do see floating around out there, the only thing that matters is power and winning, and an institution like the presidency that is well primed to become an autocratic entity, you put those two things together and you've got an American dictatorship. The Roman Republic, what happened there was it got down to a point where ambitious men who wanted power stopped caring about the various rules, norms, laws that govern their behavior. What happens if you lose an election? What happens if you don't get command of a legion? What happens if your rival is going to put forward a popular bill and give them more votes and more clients than you're going to have, make them more popular than you? How do you respond to that? And for 500 years, they mostly just kind of did it in a round-robin rotational system where everybody was kind of happy. And then round about the 50 or 60 years before Caesar, right, all of that started breaking down. And they started escalating with each other. Rome held elections every single year. There is an election. It's going to go against some candidate. That candidate has on retainer sort of armed gangs. And they said, I'm probably going to lose this vote. So on the day of the election, I need you to come in with your gang and rough people up and beat them up. They're voting urns, right? Like literal physical voting urns that you would vote into, and they would knock them over basically to wreck the election itself. I'm not going to accept that my rival got command of this potentially lucrative campaign in Greece. I want that campaign for myself. So I'm going to send gangs to try to push his supporters out of the assembly so I can win the vote. After the Revolution of 1830, there is a moment when Lafayette has to go out and stop a mob of people who are going to try to swarm into the National Assembly building because they think that the people inside the National Assembly building are writing a new constitution for France that's more conservative than they would have preferred. And so you did actually have like a mob coming in to stop the national legislature from doing what it was doing. Those things I see happening right now in the United States. I think we all saw something like that happen on January the 6th. Because really what January 6th was about was trying to disrupt the legal transfer of power from one party to another, from one candidate to another, from one person to another. And they're just trying to get in the middle of that and use force and intimidation to stop that process, which is a very different thing from the more famous moments that you see in other revolutions or in other moments of history. But there are many parallels to this. This is unique for this moment in American history. It is not unique at all in terms of world history. When I have looked back at, all through revolutions and all through the history of Rome, the unique factor about Trump is not what he tried to do. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, or that he's a bad ruler. Because when people ask me, is he like Louis XVI, or is he like, Tsar Nicholas? The answer is those guys were actually, in my opinion, better rulers and actually better politicians, frankly, than Donald Trump was. And those are historically bad rulers. You kind of have to look at what was going on with some of the teenage emperors in Roman history in terms of just how kind of flippantly nonchalant they were with the power that they had at their disposal. And not like sort of the excessive horrors that we know from like TV, like with Caligula or with Nero.
She'll have a new name. Neropolis, city of Nero.
But just in terms of temperamentally and how they wielded the power that they had at their disposal. So what does the quote unquote American Caesar look like, or the American Sulla, or the American Marius? Like somebody who's going to come along and really push the system over and grab a hold of it. I don't know that we've seen exactly what that playbook looks like. But Donald Trump has shown us, plain as day, how much people are absolutely going to be willing to go along with that if and when it does come along.
So what you saw on January 6th and the quote unquote incubating of these groups of people, they're not going anywhere after this defeat.
When old logic holds us back.
Right? After the defeat that America just took in Afghanistan, that they're going to blame on Biden. But truthfully, Donald Trump had a lot to do with that. Donald Trump was the one who freed the Taliban leader and 5,000 of the most violent Taliban insurgents. He freed them as a tenet to continue peace talks. That was one of the cards that the Taliban basically played. Like, if you want to have peace talks with us, you got to free the homies, right? Imagine the gangs in America turning up so crazy and having the government under mad pressure that they had to free Larry Hoover and about 5,000 of the quote unquote gang members. Some of they had to let out Leavenworth. They had to open up Leavenworth. They had to open up the Supermax. That's what you got in Afghanistan underneath Trump. You feel me? So the next, the falling of this empire is indicative of, like they were saying in that video. I don't agree with everything that the European dude was saying, but definitely you're seeing the quote unquote form. You're seeing the falling of the traditional three-part, the three-tiered government, the inclusion of these quote unquote multinational corporations, like the Koch brothers, what was my dude's name who was behind Cambridge Analytica? He was down with he was the brother that was funding. He was a European. He was funding Steve Bannon, multi-billionaire, right? I forgot his name. But you have all of these billionaires, not millionaires, billionaires, right? Right, exactly. Big tech, big pharma, big beef, big NRA, big guns, all of these quote unquote multinational corporations, right? They're becoming power players in government in ways that they never were before. Mercer, thank you. The Mercers, right? Robert Mercer, I believe his name was. Okay. So he had a big part to play in the Trump presidency, and he ducked underneath the radar with all of that when everything went crazy and whatnot. And they utilized Cambridge Analytica and Facebook and other people and Steve Bannon as a scapegoat. But anyway, the president currently is one of the most lamed up presidents. They're comparing this nigga to Jimmy Carter. You feel me? He is incredibly weak. he's only empowering the quote unquote right wingers and the Trumpers, you know, and those people on the right to even go a little more harder. Remember, the Taliban fell and came back 20 years later. When you read, like when I was reading the descriptions of these empires that America was in bed with, shit didn't happen in 4 years. These are not 4-year cycles. These were like 40 and 50-year cycles. You know what I mean? It take and we're in the quickening, and we in the quickening. So shit is speeding up. So things are happening in time, right? Things are taking place over time, but they're taking place. The fact that they just put out a report, was the brother who was asking me to talk about the census. The fact that they put out a report the other day for the 2020 census, right? Shout out to George. That is the same, and if anybody was familiar when I was doing my Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah lectures, specifically Texas, Baltimore, I was in Houston, I was in Baltimore, and I think I was in New York. And I pointed out, this was before, I believe this was before Trump was president, or right around the beginning of his term. I pointed out what was known as white plight, right? I was pointing out the white plight. And the white plight was the fact that European men were leading in mortality. This is 2016. This is 2017. They were leading in mortality. They were dying deaths of despair. This is prior to Donald Trump invigorating them, coming into quote unquote office, and then utilizing the rallying cry of Make America Great Again, you know, the MAGA, all of that shit brought these motherfuckers out of the sunken place. Because during the 8-year term of Obama, white men 40, 50, and 60 years old were drinking themselves to motherfucking death. They were smoking themselves to death. They were overdosing. They were going, their numbers were declining at a pace where they took over black men, because black men they were leading the charge for a minute, and then white men were leading the charge. So fast forward to 2021, they just released the census, and it said that the quote unquote white race, the decline, it signaled the quote unquote decline of the white race in America by way of the census, right? This is something that Donald Trump and other Republicans are going to play off of in 2024. I don't see a Democratic president. I don't give a fuck if it's Kamala Harris. You dig what I'm saying? They're going to utilize these talking points. This is like a dog whistle to the European. What is it saying? What it's saying is that there's a browning of America taking place. They're not going to point out, they're not just pointing out the fact that white people are dying because they have the COVID now. The COVID kind of wiped all of that out. They don't even talk about that no more. Now it's obese people, people of color, Hispanics, and niggas in the South. Y'all are now the face of death in America. Prior to that, it was white men, right? But Donald Trump and them wouldn't talk about that. But for those of us that were studying, we knew that. What they hear is the browning of America, not about the mortality rate. What they hear is these niggas are fucking our women. That's what they hear. That our women are not desiring to give birth to our seeds anymore. They letting Tyrone get some, and the children that are being born are the mulattoes or the biracials and whatnot. It's called the browning of America. That's the fear tactic. And when you do the research on all of these white supremacy groups like the Proud Boys, all of them, when they have the 14-word constitution, is what is it all about, right? Yes, fear of a black phallus. Their constitution is all about the preservation of the white race. Their constitutions is all that when they was in Charlottesville talking about we will not be replaced, and they had tiki torches looking wild moist and whatnot. All of those fucking what do they call that? Incels, right? All of those incels, all of those men going their own way, and they was rallying against we will not be replaced. Replaced by who? Who are they talking to? Who are they having a conversation with? What did the movie, going all the way back to the first movie, the first moving picture and whatnot, right? That they showed in the White House, right? What was the premise of the movie? What was the underlying premise of the movie? What did they use to rally the KKK to bring about the second rise of the KKK, right? It was the fear of a black phallus. It was the fear of a black planet. It was the fear of black men dicking down white women. Yeah, ISIS papers, tap in, right? Birth of a Nation, right? So the movie The Birth of a Nation is speaking to the quote unquote the hidden sentiments and the sentiments that they wear in their sleeves about the quote unquote powerful genetic aka super sperm that our people have, and the fact that, if race relations were positive, if black people were allowed, if they didn't redline the neighborhoods and we were allowed to move in around these people, and we were allowed to work around them, and we were allowed to prosper, then we knocking their women down because they gonna choose up. They choosing up, and that's going back to the fears that they have from what happened to them in Spain when they mamas was choosing up on black men and whatnot, and then they were being subjugated in Europe for thousands of years. You understand? That's one of they're not fearing the black woman per se, and that's no, they fetish the black woman, and basically there's an aspect of them preserving themselves in the black womb. We get into that later, but more so than that, because men are going to war. Men are going to war. It's not women that's out here clashing. It's not women that's fighting world wars, and it's not women in B-52 bombers and whatnot destroying nations and toppling nations. Women are the spoils of war. You're the prize. You're the prize. If we get to beat these niggas, then guess who's on the other side of the rainbow waiting for us? You're the prize. It's men going to war. So the dog whistle that they're blowing amongst men is that, look, these niggas are going to, we need to get behind this eugenics program. Fuck it. We got to take the juice. We got to take the jab. We're going to have to get behind the sterilization program. We're going to have to get behind this eugenics program. We're going to have to get behind this depopulation program because they already showed them the numbers, right? And the numbers are saying that these niggas are on the way up. That our numbers are shrinking regardless of whatever we're doing and whatever position that we cheat our way in and whatnot. It still doesn't put us in the European is still not in a position to whereas they coming up. Their numbers are still dwindling, right? Their numbers are still dwindling and whatnot. So they're gonna have to, subtly. We were talking about subtleties. They speak to the subconsciousness. The European speaks to the subconsciousness of the European. They don't have to say it out. They don't have to blatantly blurt it out. That's not how they speak. They talk in code. So they understand what needs to be done. They understand what needs to be done. Okay. So for them to be to rally and be like, yeah, we're gonna stop the jab and we're gonna tell, a lot of them are definitely rallying to stop it, but there's gonna be a contingency of them that's gonna be like, you know what, fuck it, you know what I mean? If it's gonna help us as a people stay in power, if this is a big play for us, the Great Reset, so we could be more in control. While these sand niggas is taking over Afghanistan and the goddamn the Genghis Khan, the Mongols are encroaching upon us from China and all of this other shit, then they're gonna pull drastic measures. 2020 census finds U.S. is more diverse than ever as white rural America shrinks. Now, in 2000, the numbers of whites was 69.1%. Now in 2020 is 57.8%. Coincidentally, the number of niggas or black people have stayed the same at 12%. Meanwhile, Hispanic went from 12% to 18%, right? That's interesting. And the Asians went from 3% to damn near 6%. That's interesting. Right? That's interesting. Whatever that means. But yeah, they not feeling that. And they a goddamn lie, because you know it's more than us. You know it ain't no goddamn 12%. They didn't knock on my door. Not to say I was gonna finna talk to them, but I don't even think they got at niggas in the census. They lying. They lying. You know what I'm talking about? They lying. They didn't count all of us. You know? There's no way that our numbers did not come up. You know what I'm talking about? There's no way. Even with our people dying, you know what I mean? Even with a lot of factors, you know, you mean to tell me that the goalpost, the needle didn't move once? I'm calling cap on that. You know, I'm calling cap on that. If they would have showed that we were 30%, you would see these people committing suicide and just going. I mean, they don't want to scare their contingency. They don't want to. They don't want to scare their constituents. Yeah, they don't want to scare them. You know, they do not want to scare them. Watch the Alien movie. The alien is a black phallus and black. Oh yeah, I remember Alien. I remember Alien. And the East Asian, all right, the East Indians, right. Look, Afghanistan is Asian, right? Eurasia, right? Russia, China, Turkmenistan, you know what I mean? Turkey Legistan, all of the stands, nigga. Eminem stand, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Bandstand, all of them fall under the Asia. That's Eurasia. You know what I mean? And then you got all of those other nationalities that's claiming white too. I guess they count themselves as like white Hispanic and shit like that. But yeah, man, you know what it is, man. You know the vibes. So I'm gonna take a few questions. Because it's 1,200 of us in the building, and I wouldn't just. I don't want to just cut out of here. Matter of fact, let me do this. What are we? 2 hours. Let me do this. I'm gonna drop the link in. This is a special day. I'm gonna just drop the link in the chat, and I'm gonna let people come in and pull up and ask. You know what I mean? And ask some questions before we get out of here. We're probably gonna take about 4 or 5 or 6. Did I see Izzo crying on IG? Yeah, I think that was promotions. You know what I mean? Shout out to Lizzo. You know, was she mad that her TED talk about twerking didn't work out? What was her problem? Because she's a beautiful woman. Let's be clear. The sister Lizzo is gorgeous. She is a beautiful woman, and she's talented as well. You know, I just think that she has the team around her may be directing her to kind of like, you know, do a little bit of you know, what do they call that? Buck dancing. You know, she may be doing a little bit of, you know what I mean? I think she's playing to a lot of those tropes that those of us are trying to avoid, who want to be seen as civilized, not just in the eyes of white people, because I could care less about how they see us. What I'm saying is we need to be seen in the eyes of Africans. I want to be seen as civilized in the eyes of Asians around the world. I want to be seen civilized in the eyes of civilized nations. That means something, y'all. That means something. Oh yeah, minstrel show. Thank you for that. Minstrel show. I think that she is playing in to the minstrel tropes. You know? I feel that's what it is. You know. So God bless her and everything that she is going to do. And I just, you know, I feel that over time she will definitely see light and she'll be more mature and whatnot. Twerking is an exercise. But my thing is this: you don't need to be. I don't know about having a TED talk. You need to go in front of a room full of white people to tell them about your twerking exercise. You don't have to. So you don't have to validate yourself to these people anymore, sis. That's all I'm saying. I love a good twerker, a good twerkage. There's nothing wrong with some twerking, but don't twerk on the ambulance, please, respectfully. When we having a protest and whatnot, and we trying to get at these people, don't twerk in front of the police. That's not, the Taliban wasn't twerking in front of the police. They wasn't twerking in front of the United States Army and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? There's a time for twerking. That's like me saying I just want to swing my my third leg. You feel me? I just want to do the Bobby Brown no prerogative dance in front of a room full of white women. You know what I mean? Like I'm a fucking thought for that. You know what I mean? I'm a thought for that. So there's certain things that we have to put a fucking muzzle on. You know what I mean? We have to be disciplined. We have to practice self-mastery. We have to practice discipline. We are a fallen people. I don't want to be groveling all my life. I don't want to be crawling on my belly all my life. There is a quote unquote, there's such a thing as of being civilized. It's a good place to be looked at, to be civil. I would rather be looked at to be more civilized than to be looked at to be a fucking knuckle dragger and a bottom feeder. You know, it's disrespectful to the people who was swinging from trees like strange fruit, and black women and men that had to sit on the back of the bus and look at their fucking shoes all day and couldn't look white people in the eyes. You know what I mean? I want to be respectful to them. All right, so we got somebody in the building. Let me bring the brother in. What's good, YHM? What's good, my guy?
Peace to the guys. Peace to the guys.
Peace to the
hey,
God.
Man,
Salute,
this
man. How you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm at work right now. You know what I'm saying? I had to tap in at work, man. Not
All
for real.
good.
But this episode,
That's
bro.
right.
This episode was powerful, bro. Very powerful, bro. Definitely. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up for us, man. Like you said, the twerking stuff, man. I see that all the time protesting, man. What's going on? I feel like it's a slap in the face to the veterans, the people that lost their lives. You know what I'm saying? 20 years, and then all of a sudden, like a couple months, like that, everything just changed. So it just like, I'm like, what's going on? Like it's like it's out there. You can see what's going on. So like, it's definitely time for us to wake up.
Clear. Yeah, it's very clear and very apparent. You know, accountability is like it's almost like castor oil to our community. You know what I mean? We don't we're of a generation that our parents and nobody could tell us nothing. You know, so we look at other people trying to discipline us and tell us how to carry ourselves. Like, how dare you?
No, for
you
real.
Know what I mean?
And like, yeah, another thing, like I was just talking to my grandma, you know what I'm saying? She's from North Carolina. And I was just talking about life insurance about her. And she's like, oh yeah, I don't want no $100,000 life insurance. I'm not paying no $100 a month to leave y'all some money. I want y'all to work hard. I'm like, what? I'm like, like she see me struggling right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, that's a mindset. I'm like, dang.
Nah,
so like,
I back life insurance. We all need that. Fuck that.
Nah, for real. If you out here in the streets, right? You out here in the streets, and you do, you might as well have a life insurance. Look,
need that.
You buying Casamigos shots for $20. You can pay $20
you feel
a month.
Me? We
and
need
get $100,000 coverage. Nah, for real. And then another thing, bro. What's up with the crystal plug, man? I remember you was talking about it. I don't know, is you or Blue? I'm talking about the crystal plug, man. I definitely want to. We gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
I definitely want to tap into that, man.
Blue started that conversation, and I'm with it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm definitely with it. You know, I got my crystal right here. You know what I mean? Like,
man,
that's
very
like important.
You, man.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing, brother. You know what I mean? That's not our thing, but we are gonna go to these places where the crystals are in the mountains, right? Places like Afghanistan. I'm not going to Afghanistan, but I'm saying like in those mountainous regions, Brazil, you know, places where our people originate from. This is what's inside of these mountains and these caves and whatnot. And I feel that we need to reclaim our resources.
No, for real.
Like
I'm gonna
that.
be on my Dave Chappelle. I'm gonna be on my Dave Chappelle. Go back to Ghana. I don't know if you saw
That's right.
Nas house. Nas house in Ghana looking beautiful. I'm like, dang,
You seen that?
looking beautiful. Nah, for real.
Yeah.
And I heard they treat us like kings.
Ghana's what's up. I got peoples out there. Ghana's beautiful, man.
Nah, for
You
real.
feel me? What state you in? Where you at?
Man, I'm in PG County, Maryland. So
Oh,
anybody
you
that's
in
out
PG
here,
County?
yeah,
I fucks with PG County.
yeah.
Some of our first lectures was in PG County. You know what I mean?
Dang,
Silver Springs, PG County, and all of that. Like, isn't that where some of the most successful melanated people live?
Yup.
Shout out to
Definitely,
the
it
PG
is.
family.
Man, anybody in DMV trying to link up? This is my Instagram, my name. Let's link up. I'm trying to do some work, some community work. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely trying to get this joint started, man. Definitely.
Yo, make sure y'all hit the God up. Everybody out there in the DMV and whatnot. Could they get a discount if they pull up to the JO?
Oh, yeah. Hey, come out the back door.
But make sure y'all link up with the God. Miss Park 99. That's his Instagram, YHM brand and whatnot.
Yep,
I appreciate you, King. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the next caller. All right. Stay dangerous, man. Stay dangerous,
you
man.
Already know. You
Stay
do the
focused.
same.
Indeed.
Got
Please.
You.
All right. All right. We are here with next guest. Peace to the stream, Peacock. What's goody? What's goody? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? I hope my audio is okay. Does it sound okay?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's clear. Pleasure to meet you. How you doing?
Pleasure to meet you as well. Hello, everyone.
Yes. Indeed. What's going on? How's everything?
Everything is going beautiful. It really is. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Wonderful to hear. You know what I'm saying? I love to hear when all is well. You know what I mean? Did you enjoy the show tonight? The information?
Yes. Like I said, when I first came in, I was on my way home and I was kind of bored anyway. And I always look for you on Monday. So I saw that you were on and beautiful. Every time that you break down things like that, I really do apply the act of applying it, see how it reflects the perception, turning it in, and I see what you are teaching us, what you're saying. I see what's even in the news reflecting in my life, which will lead to question because I've gone quite a few years without staying in the news, without staying up to date. Things of reality, things like that. So my question was, as advice, you think it's time for someone who gets really affected emotionally, emotionally, spiritually by that everything, and just how to handle it.
You're getting a lot of love in the chat. You're getting a lot of love. Yeah, they're giving you your flowers and whatnot. You feel me? Because your energy is always very welcoming. You know what I mean? It's always there. So we appreciate you and whatnot. We definitely do. I'm glad I didn't start at midnight tonight. I did an early show.
Yes, I love that. Because my shifts, my work had changed right when it was. And I was like, how am I going to get you back in? And now I'm back to it. So yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. I'm gonna make a more concerted effort to, continue doing these primetime shows.
Yes.
And tapping in and whatnot. That's definitely the aim and whatnot. Yeah. But what state you in? Where you at?
I'm in Kentucky, y'all. I'm in Louisville. That sounds like I really am. Yeah, I'm from Kentucky.
I love Kentucky, yo. Kentucky treated me good last time when I went. Yes. Yeah, the love in Kentucky was very it was very genuine. We've been there a few times though. We've been there for like 4 years. We've been going to Kentucky. So I definitely, I appreciate it. And I haven't really even finished exploring the city and whatnot. There's still more to find out. Indiana right there, all of that. Yeah. So
Same
We're
here.
working on getting back out there. Yeah, we're working on getting back out there. Maybe in the fall, so we could do a lecture. But
Okay,
you'll be made aware of it. You in the building. All right. Anything you want to leave the people with?
Thank you all so much for this house. I love seeing the ladies and the men. Beautiful experience. Family. I have come to feel family, as we know when it comes to these videos and everyone's talking, we're communicating, and be myself, and
Right.
it
Well, you
helps.
know, we gonna build this network, and the goal is to create a community out of a network, so I could finally, conceptualize what is called a conscious community, because I've never really seen that. But we have a network, and a network could eventually become a community. So with the right resources and with the right people on board, the right team, this could be done in no amount of time. Real talk.
I love it, and that's what excites me, because I feel that, I know that, I feel it where I know that it's facts, because it can happen, and just how it charges me, and life experiences. Like I said, how things, I am living life and seeing things on my perspective, no matter what level we all are on. It's just,
That's right. That's right. Well, I want to thank you. Thank you for always pulling up and giving us your energy. It is definitely well received, and we appreciate it. We appreciate you. And I just say stay dangerous out there in Kentucky. Stay dangerous. That's where ESTG is from. Yeah, stay dangerous. They out there turning up. But I definitely will let y'all know when we coming back out there, so we can link up.
Yes, and it is an honor, more than a pleasure, more than.
Did you see Umar this weekend?
I'm sorry?
Did you see they had something this weekend? I saw on Instagram. Umar Johnson was out there.
No.
It was like a health thing going on. Yeah.
He's another teacher came across my journey, and I'm one of those. Being honest, I had to get a lot of mine, and I went to get a lot of my knowledge through YouTube.
Right. YouTube University. Yeah. YouTube University. Shit. This is YouTube saving lives. I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I mean? I'm in the university. I be going through class to class. Shit. I'm in the hallway a lot. So I tap in. But I appreciate you. Thank you, Queen. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all so much, you beautiful kings and queens. Thank you. I love you. Thank you.
All right. Love. Peace. All right. My guy Tizo, we're going to bring you in. Peace to the God. What's goody, man? Peace.
How you doing today, good brother?
Man, I can't complain. Can't complain.
Indeed.
You know what I'm talking about? How about you? Tapped in?
Hey, I just got out the gym, just got done training, with the big bro. Yeah, we getting right.
Yeah, getting right.
Gotta
stay in that
right.
gym, brother. I promise you. Especially, go ahead.
I got the fitness content coming soon too, so I'm working on that. Yeah, indeed.
You said a fitness contest?
No, fitness content, so I can teach the people.
Content, right.
Right, teach the people how to train.
But yo, bruh, let me know when you do that, because I promise you, like, I be on Instagram, I follow a few pages, but when you're in the gym, it's all about form. Like when you're working out, it's all about form and whatnot. So I know a lot of people, they work out, but they don't have the right form. So that's very important. So you know what I mean? When you do your thing, keep me in mind, tag me in the video, because I'll definitely utilize that. That's your brand right there.
No, this ain't my brand. My brand coming soon, but nah, this ain't mine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fire though. Come out with a fitness brand.
Oh, you right.
Come on,
write that down.
Yeah, call it athleisure.
Hold on, say that again.
Athleisure. That's like the genre. That would be the niche, the market, athleisure. It's real big.
Indeed.
That's
I'm
like
looking into
Lululemon and all of that shit. The yoga pants and all of that. Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, see, I don't know nothing about that, but I'm gonna have to look into it
Well,
though, cause
yeah, do your due diligence.
I'm trying to get into different niches so I could attract different audiences. And all in all, my main goal is to give the knowledge yourself.
Well, I feel that the athletic, the workout shit, because in this community, they put it out there, but it's not necessarily something that everybody is into. You know what I mean? And with this invisible enemy that's out there, right? I don't even want to say the name of it. From what I see, it's very important to be very healthy. You know what I mean? Like if there was ever a time to go hard and to burn off the excess weight and to tighten up, it's now, because it seems as if the quote unquote virus is affecting people who might not be necessarily on top of their health regimen.
Right.
You feel me? Yeah, that's how it's spelled right there, my guy.
Okay, all right, thank you. Appreciate that. Athleisure.
Yeah, man.
Okay, and I want to ask you, let me see. How I watch a lot of your videos, and even when you did your mini lecture when in Rome last week, I think it was.
Right.
It looks like you do a lot of research and you got a lot of information. So, because I do research to bring my content to the people, and I get a lot of, but I don't get a lot of information. And the internet tell a lot of lies. It's not right.
Right.
So how do you what I'm saying, get the right information? How do you dig so deep? Whatever your process is.
I promise you, bro. It's spiritual at this point. You know what I mean? I don't want to say it, and it sounds all you know what I mean, like all highfalutin and whatnot. But
Yeah.
I set my intentions, and then I go silver surfing. I set my intentions like mentally. I might meditate on some shit. You know what? I need to I need to really tap in. Like when I come up with titles and topics for lectures that I'm doing, there's just like an inkling that the spirit is like, yo, teach about this. Like when in Rome, I didn't know that the Taliban was finna take over and topple the fucking government. I didn't know that. I couldn't foresee that. But it fits perfectly into the narrative of when in Rome. It's almost like it's like the ancestors hand me information. You know what I mean? When I listen to the voice, and when I dive in, I just go deep diving. You know what I mean? I follow leads and whatnot. I'm on the gram. I'm on YouTube. I'm in different places. I might pick up a book and just dive in, and the book will give me information. And then when I go Google something, the Google search will take me to something else, and then that will take me to something else. So I'm connecting a lot of dots, but it's really spiritual at the end of the day. The way that it's working, it's not planned. It's chaos magic. It's chaos magic. So trust chaos magic. I could be chaotic. I have mad books open, 100 tabs open. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there thinking and shit, and then things are just coming to me. And it might be something random. They don't got nothing to do with none of that. And that might point me in the direction that I need to go.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So
makes sense.
on aggregator sites like Twitter and other places, depending on the topic, let's say that you wanted to do health, you would want to go on some of those sites like Google News and whatnot, and Twitter, the Twitter feed, and basically set it up to where you're being fed information that's in your niche or in that genre every other day, and then you check in and you tap in and you see, you know what I mean? Fuck with the algorithm.
Indeed, appreciate that. I'm gonna get into that, because meditating on stuff, I've seen that actually works a lot. Meditating on things.
That to me, that's the foundation of it, King. I could do a walking meditation. I could be in the gym, leg day. That's meditation. I could be, listening to some music, meditation. I'll be laying there playing with my son and whatnot. He's beating me up, and I could be meditating.
Right.
It's just whatever zone you find yourself getting into and whatnot. or just sit in a dark room sometimes and close your eyes and quiet your thoughts and zero in. That also works. And smoke an ounce of some loud. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, I don't do that. You know, I don't do
Yeah,
that.
I'm just playing.
I gotta stay focused. Also, and would you be interested in me getting an interview on my Instagram live with you and Blue possibly?
Me and Blue?
Yeah, or just you. You know, it don't matter.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, definitely. That's definitely. Yeah, hit me up. We can make it happen.
Indeed, indeed. And one more thing. What's your take on what the school systems are doing by taking the Native American history out? And a lot of us already don't even know that we are Native Americans. And
It's
also,
because it would expedite the falling of Rome. Right? Rome, keep in mind, the melanated mind is what's creating the environment that we're in right now, right? The subjugation that we're in, the everything that we see around us is, to my understanding, that the more superior mind, the more higher mind is the melanated mind. It's not the European mind, because if the European mind was in charge, we would be enslaved or we wouldn't even be here, right? So the fact that they're on our land, the fact that they're in control of our resources, the fact that they've been hiding so much stuff from us, right? I just went to a spot the other day and I saw a map, right? They had a map of the 1500s with all of the Indian, the names of all of the Indian villages, and everywhere in this state is named after those Indian. They still kept all of the names, like the highway, the fucking parks. You know what I mean? So it's like they are hiding information in plain sight. If you were to find out more information, if you're able to crack the code, you expedite the fall of Rome. Rome is standing because you're falling. Rome is standing because you're asleep. The faster that we wake up is the faster that they fall. We can't occupy the same space at the same time. You feel what I'm saying? They're able to occupy the suburbs, and they're able to occupy the cities, and they're able to move around the way that they're able to move around because we are completely sleepwalking and we don't know who we are. We don't even know where we are. We don't know the significance of where we are. We're not paying homage to a certain type of ancient land on the forest and the flora. You know, we're not giving our energy to the stuff that's around us. You know what I mean? We're not paying homage to the ancestors that are in the ground. You know, they got our people buried underneath these cities and mass graves and shit like that. You know, if we knew all of this stuff, we would be able to speak to them. We would be able to tap into it. They live in fear more than you live in fear every night. That henceforth why they were wilding out for critical race theory. They're like, you can't tell these, because remember, ultimately what it's going to boil down to is that you niggas in America was already here. Not everybody, of course, but you niggas in America, we lied to you, and they don't want you to know that they were slaves before you were. It would destroy the facade. So remember, when I was underneath a spell, white people was 100 feet tall and I was like 1 foot tall. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. That was my perception of them.
You're not lying.
These niggas was giants to me. So the more that I learned, the smaller they got. Now these niggas is in Smurf Village and we the giants. I'm just saying, and because I changed my mind, my perception changed, so everything around me changed. I don't live in fear of anything that they have to do it anymore, because I understand their fear factor. I know that they're gonna try to scare me. I know they're gonna try to intimidate me. I know that when they see my energy and whatnot, they're gonna be repelled because of the fact that they could look at me and know that I know who I am.
Right.
So I can't be arrogant with it, because you could get spanked if you're running around this motherfucker arrogant. I've been warned against being arrogant. You cannot walk around with a chip on your shoulder. You can't walk around angry. You can't walk around like you bet nobody. No one have to battle. G.I. Joe.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So yeah, man.
Indeed. Well, appreciate that. Appreciate the
Yeah,
information. I'm for sure go tap in to try to get that interview with you and Blue, the twin
Oh yeah,
pillars.
yeah.
I need that.
Let's
I
make it
need
happen.
that.
Hit me on my inbox. And what's today? Let's set it up after I do this lecture on Thursday. Because I'm about to get into hermit mode and whatnot. I ain't gonna be above ground until I knock this thing off.
Right. Well, appreciate the time, brother. Appreciate the time.
All right, man. Peace, King.
Peace. Peace.
Yes, sir. All right. We have Mrs. Poetic just in the building. Let me bring her in. Hey. Your microphone muted. Your microphone is muted. I can't hear you.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, there we go. There we go.
What?
I'm trying to figure, I'm trying to make sure I be on point.
You on point? What's good? How you doing?
But good. Love, peace, and light, brother. Love, peace, and light.
Love, peace, and light to you as well. Love, peace, and light to you as well. Where you tapping in from?
I am tapping in Michigan, Pontiac, Michigan, to be all the way thoroughly.
All right,
okay.
Pontiac.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
But I like to say, what I'm saying, I'm country born. I'm city raised, and the birds
That's right.
Braised. Okay.
That's
so
right.
That's
That's
what
right.
It is. Yeah.
Country born. Where from?
Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, shout out to the Chi. You already know, man. Shout out to the Chicago family. Shout out to Chicago Crypto. He showed me a lot of love when I was out there in April. She brought me around town. He was hipping me to Chicago because y'all are political out there. It's a lot to learn.
Hey.
So yeah.
I'm about to do it, but hey.
Yes. He was hipping me to the city. Indeed.
Yep.
But how did you?
Yep, indeed. Although I've been in Michigan, where people will be like, "You a Michigander," but in my heart, in my soul, for some reason, I'm like, it's Chicago. I can't let Chicago go.
But y'all close to each other though, right?
And 4 hours away.
Right.
Yeah. Not that far. Detroit, Chicago, Chi-Town. Yep, all of that. So,
how you liking in Pontiac though?
And in Pontiac reminds me of being on the south side of Chicago. I can go deeper into that, but all just to start off with, I didn't have a question to ask you.
Okay.
But I want to pay homage to you and Blue Pill and Rich. I saw y'all video yesterday, and what you're talking about. And information. There are some people, it is what it is. I just want to comment. For what I have to say, it's not about me. Of paying homage to you and your brother, the whole ordeal that y'all got going on. Because
thank you.
It's much needed. It's much needed. I said this before, you know what I'm saying, and not having many elders or many people out here nowadays that's giving us what we need.
Right.
I had took a few notes down, like just pretty much. There are certain things that I learned that I didn't even know. I was just
right.
Wow, like
I was learning some shit yesterday.
The art of war.
Right.
So much hate with Haiti.
Right.
Knowing the administration, I didn't know anything about what. Shout out to Little Goddess. I had no clue about the Bush doctrine.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
Me. I had those things. I was just like, wow, like.
Yeah.
I'm like, really, the Taliban, all of these certain things, and this is important that we have to be. Some people may think, oh, we got enough problems, let's not worry about that. But it's like, no, these certain things that these trinkets and information that you can learn, it is going to allow you to be able to see further to what the fuck is really going on.
Right. I'm a solutionary.
The drug, the opium epidemic that you were talking about. I'm going to just go ahead and say it. I lost my father, opium, the prison system in 2017.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Condolences. Right. So
it's real.
That's what I'm saying. So people don't even realize that across the world, we might be like, I don't got nothing to do with that. But it's like, what they growing over there, and the drugs that they moving over there, and the fact that the United States of America is cutting deals with drug dealers and warlords, and then they coming over here and locking us up, but they moving more weight than a fucking than an orca whale, and people in the hood are dying over overdoses, dying addicted and whatnot, and fathers are being locked up for even touching the shit, and it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And for y'all, for you to even be reaching bases and to be sharing this once again information, like we are in 2021. Yes, people can go and Google search, people can go and do these things, but me paying homage to brothers like you and your brother Blue Pill and brother Rich and the KTL, like all of these things that y'all are giving us. Yeah, it just may seem, I don't know how to explain it as a woman, as a black woman, as a mother, as a wife, and to seeing this and to understand this. Y'all was just talking about the sister Saisha, who her children was just stripped from her. Really?
Right.
What the fuck are we doing right now?
Right.
Excuse me.
Nah, you're a mother. Yeah, I mean, and there's a new video of another mother out. There's a video of another mother out. I just saw it today. So I'm like, come on, what are we doing? Like when Blue Pill dropped and said that they canceling the babies, that shit turned on a light in my head. And I could see it. And I'm like, I'm Taliban minded right now. Like I'm more militant minded than ever, because I'm not playing. If nobody is playing with these people, neither am I at this point. I'm not playing. I'm not playing this game. I'm not going to be a part of this quote unquote. This.
Yep.
Right.
A part of me too as well, because I'm not trying to be sensitive to people, but because I'm on this frame of saying it like this, I also believe we winning. We are being so distracted that we don't realize that these certain things that's happening, we want all this. No, these motherfuckers out here, excuse my language, we talk about we can say this, that, and the other, are trying to find different avenues. They trying to find, I was just saying yesterday, the art of war. They know the tactics. They know what the fuck they're doing. It's unfortunate that some of us just not understanding it.
Right. And I utilize
and
the
seeing
concept.
What's going on. The Taliban took over. The Taliban took over. America was in Afghanistan in control. Excuse me, but in less than a week, these niggas ain't killed nobody. They gotta take your cookies. Out of nowhere. Excuse me. I don't know. As being a woman, I gotta feel bad, because like, no, lower your tone. Don't curse. Don't this. No, we passed that shit. I'm real.
Right.
I'm a soldier.
Look, this is this is a language free platform. I let it out. Do you play spades? You play spades?
Yes, I'm from Chicago.
Okay, so this is the concept. They're showing their hand, right? They're running out of books. In the game of spades, when you don't have a full hand, you get desperate. That's what you see these people doing. Henceforth, why you know that you're winning their hand, because they're throwing all of their cards out. They don't have too many. They don't got too many hands in their deck left.
Yes.
So we're gonna let them play their hands, but their hands are exposing themselves. They're doing it to themselves. The same thing that happened in Afghanistan. They went and sat down with them people with the Taliban, and the Taliban was like, "Oh, if you niggas even gotta sit with us, you are showing us that you are losing." All of that big Rambo macho shit that y'all on. If you sitting down trying to negotiate an exit, that means you motherfuckers are ready to lose. And they showed their hands, and they got checked.
Don't let them see you sweat. Don't never let them see you sweat.
Them people checkmated them yesterday and made them look like fools around the world, right? So the image of America is you know, the stocks of America, the shit is falling. You know what I mean? If it was Bitcoin, we in a bear market right now. We're not in the bull market. So, you know, the people who are the batteries of this empire, that's who I'm here for. I'm here to say, for us, we're the batteries of this bitch. We are the charge of this empire. We need to we need to start taking back our power, right?
Red pill. Let me tell you this. This is when in Rome. Guess what? Like, I love it. That's why I'm tuning in. Look, I was like, yes. I even had my people. I was like, look, this is real. What y'all saying? Guess what? Rome is falling all over again.
Right.
Like it's Rome is falling. Like they're showing us this shit's face. They're putting. I don't even know how to explain it to a depth of. It's to each its own. Like it's crazy out here. Rome.
Yeah. And if you don't know what you're seeing,
Rome,
right.
this.
Right. And if you don't know what you're seeing, then you just might assume that it's something completely different. But this bitch is falling at an accelerated pace.
Yep.
So, you know, I appreciate you. I love your energy.
Group. We got Conquer and Divide. We got it's all kind of shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only way. Excuse me for being. That's the way I explain it. But
that's right.
Because y'all. Once again, I'm paying homage. Overall message is paying homage to y'all because I feel like this type of information, this type of talk, this is what needs to be talked about. We have to understand. Okay, you feel like, this is not. Some people be like, oh, it was a comment, something that was no, this is not important. We got problems of this, that, and the other. But no, but shit will get you to understand deeper to what is really going on. And you got people like you and your brother, once again, Blue Pill, Red Pill.
Shout out to Blue.
Brother Rick.
Shout out to Rick.
Professor Griff, and there's some others that I can name that's
Shout out to
out
Griff.
Here putting in the groundwork, that's talking about it. That's letting us know, although we should be able to, it's a click of a finger. We in 2021. Right. And you know what I'm saying? Y'all, but being appreciative and knowing that the people are putting in the groundwork of doing this is why I appreciate y'all.
Right.
It's real.
Appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Whether we talking about the juice, or whether we talking about what the president's doing, it's certain things that people got to understand. Like, look, it's real out here. And
you know, I'm gonna tie it in. You know, I'm gonna make it do what it do. I'm gonna make it make sense. First, I gotta shout out my brother KT. I can't leave my younger brother out. He's a beast out here in these streets. You know, I'm trying to catch up to him. God damn it. You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to catch up to my younger brother. And you know, everybody like you, that all of the names that you shouted out, you know, I appreciate them as well. And to be honest with you, appreciation is a currency. You feel me? Appreciation is a currency. And you don't, we need that sometimes. We need to hear that. And I appreciate you for even saying that. You know what I'm talking about? Because it is a currency. So yeah, that's a fact. But I got people in the building, so I appreciate you. They said that you out here, they calling you purple. They calling you purple. They calling you Purple Rain. Because you got the purple on. You know what I'm saying? But they loving you in the chat room. You know what I mean? You thank you. Thank you. All right. Yes, and love and light. Indeed. Peace.
Yes.
All right. Peace. All right. So our next guest we have in the building is Miss Foxy. Peace and love. How you doing?
Peace and love to you, Rick. Always, always.
Greetings. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm super excited that I got to get up here and catch you on the live, and then actually get to speak to you face to face.
I made sure, I was like, you know what? I need to open up the lines. You know what I mean? Like, I need to meet the people tonight. I need to build with the family. You know what I mean? Because it's not about me all the time. So, you know, thank you for pulling up. I know that's not an easy thing to do, you know, but thank you. Where you tapping in from?
Bronx, New York.
Oh,
you know
it is. BX all day. You know, that's where I was born.
Not too far. Well, word. I actually bumped into you one time because our children played at the Madison after school there. So I bumped into you and your son. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was able to, you blessed me with.
There you go, the classic.
Yeah, you blessed me with that. Yeah. I had kind of like crept up behind you and I was like, oh snap. I was like, great. Just like, yo. Kicked it for a hot second. And I was like, yo, I was trying to get this downloaded. You had it in the stash. And yeah, this is cryptocurrency right here for everybody
that is living cryptocurrency right there. I just was listening to that in the car the other day. So dope. I appreciate that. Indeed.
And then, you know, chiming into what Miss Poetic, we got the purple. So that purple ring, that Prince is in the building.
Purple.
That energy, that spirit is going through right now.
That's right. Indeed. No doubt. How's the little one?
She's graduated now. She hasn't been over in Madison for a couple of years. She's like, Mom, I outgrown it. So
right.
But she's doing well. She'll be going into the 9th grade. So all praise to her.
They growing up fast. You know what I mean? Like my son.
Yeah, I saw your little man. I was like, dude, that is no way. Like he was like up to your knee.
Right. He a whole high school student now. So you know, I'm mentally preparing myself for that. That's a whole new phase. I've never been there before. This is my first child that's reached the teenager years and whatnot. So, you know, I'm just getting myself ready for that because I know it's gonna be a roller coaster. You know what I mean?
But you are an exemplary father. You're an exemplary man. So, you know, I wouldn't see it that it'd be such a big deal because you're very in tune and tapped into the youth.
Oh, definitely. You know, I'm not saying that even in a negative way. You know what I mean? Definitely. He's on point. You know what I mean? He's not like showing any signs of rebellion and, you know, that teenager shit. I'm just paying attention to when it does pop up. I could, you know, handle that.
You 2 feet ahead, 2 steps ahead.
I know I went crazy at 13. You know what I'm talking about? I went bonker. I lost it.
Right? Especially living in the city, like you get in all kind of trouble.
Yeah.
I was just down in, they have Harlem Week started, so I went down there yesterday.
Yeah. So that was the end of it right there. I was kind of pissed that I missed that.
But no, I wasn't sure because I'm not sure if it's the beginning or the end, but it was on 135th Street.
Right. I saw Sinetta going live. Was that the book? Yeah, was that the book thing or was that officially like the Harlem Week? And I gotta find out.
Yeah, it was
usually do that every year.
Yeah. And it was an environment, people were having fun. I didn't see anybody acting out. You know, it was
a little lighter though than other years.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I think a lot of people have left Harlem. But it was great when I seen the people through the live. He was on live, and it just was like, damn, they go Harlem. I was like, shit, I want to be there. But then I was like, you know, I'm kind of sitting out events this year. You know what I mean? I'm kind of
especially like that. But I took the chance, and I geared up as much as possible.
Right. So you enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, it was a good experience. And I think the last time I went, I was a teenager, so it was definitely a good experience.
Oh, okay.
I don't really get down to Harlem like that. I have not beef with Harlem, but I'm just like,
you a true Bronx. Yeah, you're a true Bronxite. Let me find out. Right. Yeah, still got Civil War. You know what I'm saying? You still got that Civil War.
No doubt.
That's
no doubt.
So
what were you exactly expunging on? Because I kind of caught the tail end of what everybody was talking about.
Well, yeah, I opened up talking about the whole Afghanistan situation. I took the family back to the history of Afghanistan because a lot of us only know about Taliban and Afghanistan from the media and from 9/11. We don't know the history. A lot of people don't know that America had a hand in building up the Taliban, and America, like they do in a lot of quote unquote dictatorships, they always somehow the motherfuckers that armed them, and they were always there in the beginning. They always started from the bottom with the terrorists. So I was sharing that aspect of it, and just giving a lot of because it's a lot of geopolitical shit going on with that whole move right there. It's people in America like that don't got nothing to do with me. Who cares about these people from Afghanistan? I'm like, look, on a global scale, if you in America and you don't realize what's going on with these chess pieces moving, this is a humongous black eye. America took one of their biggest losses of this is the new Vietnam, but it's worse than Vietnam. Trillions of dollars spent, thousands of lives lost, an illegal war to begin with. You feel what I'm saying? Right. Against the people who was not even heavily armed like that. And it ain't like niggas ran up against China. They went up against Afghanistan, which is known to be the graveyard for empires. So the Russia fell, the USSR got beat, and then they fell after that. You know what I mean? The whole shit collapsed. So my whole pretense is the fall of Rome, or when in Rome. This shit is a wrap. You know what I mean? This is hashtag it's a wrap. The emperor has no clothes, and the empire is falling before our very eyes. Olympus has fallen, and people have to be able to look at it from a perspective, a bird's eye view, not the view that we're seeing it from, that we're subjugated and we, the woe is me pretense. I'm not looking through those eyes. I'm looking down at shit like, oh, the insurrection in January, the fact that none of us have faith in the political parties, a lame duck president, all kind of shit is going on. So I'm like, something has to happen as a result of that. This is a recipe for change. You know what I mean? And I don't feel no type of way about it. I'm actually excited, because I want to see, I'm gonna sit back, because when something falls, something comes up. So it was basically that. And I was talking about the heroin, the dope, and how the heroin, how that shit directly affects modern day America. You know what I mean? Coming out of Afghanistan, how they went up in that bitch in 2001, and coincidentally, you have a new opioid crisis in America and whatnot. So the sins of the father fell right on the heads of their children, because in Vermont, Rhode Island, Connecticut, all of these places where Europeans, the children of these warmongers, the children of a lot of these people who were, Vietnam veterans, the children of these quote unquote, what do they call? What's that generation? Baby boomers.
Baby boomers.
Yeah. It's their children that's getting eaten up. But Rome eats its children. They don't care.
Exactly. You mentioned in that last segment with the young lady poet, The Art of War.
Whoo, there you go.
All right. This is what people be reading, because they need to know the steps that these nefarious people are playing out here now. And it may be shits and giggles on the outside, but on the real, there's real stuff going on, and we need to be prepared, mind, body, and soul. We are definitely in a spiritual attack. There's a lot of these nefarious entities circling us. They're waiting for us to drop and fall, so they can have us sway and move around, kind of like The Walking Dead.
Oh, with that, all day.
With the heroin, that's really what it's making it look like. As I went down yesterday on 125th Street, it really started resembling, 80s and 90s all over again on the pockets. Because I saw them laying out, leaning over.
Or laid out on the streets.
Laid out on the street, or standing up, leaning over.
It's crazy in Harlem. It's crazy. And I'm like, this shit was reminiscent of like the 60s.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I just like, I want our people to stay focused. You're gonna see some debauchery, but think about the people in Afghanistan and other places who've seen the debauchery and saw the had to see a lot of shit before they saw some type of freedom. And I don't even know if those people that live in Afghanistan could even be called having freedom at the end of the day, because they one regime who had their boots on their neck is out of here. They're on the run, and now a new regime is taking over to implement what is known as Sharia law and the Wahhabism level of Islam where it's ultra orthodox. So the women got to cover up.
Mm-hmm.
The men might have to grow their beards. They can't watch porn anymore. They can't eat McDonald's anymore. You feel me? They can't fornicate the way that they wanted to. They can't skip praying 5 times a day. So these people are going to be, you know, they're going to be subjugated to be about a certain type of, you know, Islam and whatnot. But if that's what you signed up for, then hey, you shouldn't have a problem. You should welcome it, you know. But yeah,
I feel like as I was watching this all unfold this morning, it's like, look, the nations are going to fall. Let the nations fall, because out of that rubble, we got the phoenix rising, and then there's going to be a new regime taking over. Like, I feel like this all has to play out, as sad and as hurtful as it may seem. And we saw our brothers and sisters out in Haiti who just went through this horrific so-called earthquake.
Tragedy.
In Jamaica, because your family's from the Caribbean, St. Croix.
Yeah.
My family's by way of Jamaica, and what's happening up there where the Maroons are living, where our ancestors left. Yeah, they have that bauxite, and it's going in even deeper. They want to tap into that area, all for aluminum. You got all the indigenous people still living there. I mean, beautiful, lush lands, fruits, vegetables. I mean, they want for nothing. They give back, ancestors give back to them, and China, Russia, I believe it is, and America got their hand on it and want to destroy that part of the country.
Right. They want to destroy the water stream, and also the toxins in the air, you know, and all of that these corporations are known everywhere that they and I went into that diatribe about living in paradise, but having to accept that it's a third world based off of what the quote unquote Roman Catholic Church, in tandem with major corporations, in tandem with corrupt governments, in tandem with the children that the Romans turned out. Those are the politicians, those are their cronies, those are their fuck boys, pardon my French. Those are the people that they use to rape, rob, and pillage because they all kiss those red shoes of the Pope. And I'm like, enough is enough.
The real red bottoms. If people don't know what red bottoms are.
The real, and if we were to try to rise up, those are the buffers that they will always put in between us. We can't even get to the culprit because our people are foot soldiers for a regime, a evil empire that they're like, oh no, that's my pastor or my preach. Nigga, you don't see what's happening?
Right.
You don't understand that they've been hoodwinking you since they got here? So it's like this internal struggle. It's like, you know, it's the Matrix. Like I was breaking down before, everybody is on Agent Smith time, and it could be a little bit frustrating, but it's like you have to push and you have to persevere. And to be honest with you, I have to say this as a disclaimer, because there's people in here who have family members who lost their lives in the Afghanistan war fighting the Taliban. But I'm saying that sometimes you have to look at freedom fighters from around the world and figure out, you know what I mean, and take some motherfucking steps from them and use that for some type of to have. I'm using them as a point of reference to say, shit, if they could do something, well, then anybody could do something.
Right. Absolutely.
So, but yeah, we filling up in here. Thank you. I want to thank you too. When I see you again, I'll have the Red Summer album on me.
And yeah, they don't know. They don't know. This is classic. This right here is the coin, is the gold. That's right.
Yeah, that definitely is. I might have to make that an NFT coming down the line.
No.
But yeah, give thanks though. You know what I'm talking about?
Grace and
Foxy,
peace
I
to you.
appreciate you. All right.
Salute.
Peace. All right, we got Lando in the building. Peace to the God.
Oh yes, sir, but I just want to speak on what you were talking about with that Taliban.
Yes, sir. Peace, Lando. I can't hear you that clear.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you better. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, I'm on this other computer. I was trying to get on that one, but I couldn't get the website together.
No doubt.
Anyway, but the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was stating from about almost 20 years ago that America was going to be going into Afghanistan and wasn't going to be able to win that war. And so Afghanistan.
He said that?
Yes, he did. He said
wow.
that. He said that. Let me think. Well, can she avert it? I think that's the name of the video. But he said they were going to go into Afghanistan. They weren't going to be able to win.
Can you? I'm sorry, Lando. Can you turn it up just a little bit because it's somewhat muffled, and the family in the chat room is like they can't hear you that good.
Oh, I ain't. Okay, can you hear me better now?
A little bit better.
A little bit better.
You have like headphones or something, like earpiece. Yeah, we want to hear your bill. We want to hear your wisdom.
Oh yeah, I do got a mic. Check. Can you hear the mic?
Where you tapping in from?
Dallas.
Dallas.
Put the link back up, and I'll come back on my other computer. This computer
Okay.
can't hear them.
No problem.
Simple.
Shout out to the Dallas family. Shout out to brother Ben X, Dr. Jake Taylor. You know what I'm talking about? All of the family out there in the Dallas area. I'm sure that there's more. Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, and all of y'all. Yeah, salute to every Talik and Houston, Pop Darby. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we're gonna let the brother come back in with the audio, and we're gonna chop it up. Shout out to everybody that's hitting up the Cash App. You know what I mean? Don't be shy. You know what I'm talking about? Don't pinch your purse. You know what I'm talking about? You know, be generous. Leave a tip at the table. Everybody that's hitting up that Cash App, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Man out. Peace, God. What's good, my brother? Peace, my bro. Yes. Peace. What's good, my brother? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You can hear me? You can't hear? Do you think America will fall like Rome? I think it has all of the telltale signs of Rome. I think it has all of the signs of Rome prior to its falling. So if history serves us correct, it's looking like that. Okay. You back? You back?
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Orlando. Yeah, you came back. You got into the spaceship. You didn't around.
I'm here.
This shit look like
yes, sir.
This like a Scream video with Michael Jackson and Janet.
You got into the spaceship.
But you got feedback.
Okay, I just canceled it.
There you go, King. What's goody, man?
Not too much, brother. But yeah, I've been looking into that Afghanistan too, and how they was trying to get all the people up out of Afghanistan before they started taking over. They wasn't thinking they was gonna take it over so fast, but I mean, they never knew how many people was up in them caves anyway, and
they underestimated them.
Correct. That was a war they wasn't gonna win. The minister spoke about that about 20 years ago. So, you know, a lot of us already knew what was going on, and they was just prolonging it, you know, and then they give you all these messed up numbers saying this and that. But when they started taking them out, Biden said he was going to take out the soldiers from Afghanistan. That's the first thing I seen. I said, okay, so they already saying now that they ain't going to win this war. And then they were saying they need to get some people up out of, I think it was Kabul.
That's the capital. Kabul is the capital.
Kabul before they come and take that over.
Right.
So
That's where it was most westernized at. That's where the embassies and all of that shit was at.
Okay. So he was saying he gonna get the troops out. He was gonna send 1,000 troops in there. Then he said 3,000 troops, then 5,000 troops. And I don't know how successful it has been in there because I haven't checked back on the update on the news. But I also seen where Trump said if he would have did it, it would have been more successful as far as getting the people up out of there. Now I don't know if a lot of people know, but to what I'm feeling, Trump still got a good tight hold on the police department and the military. And when he said that kind of like, you know, it made sense.
Think about this, King. Think about the morale of the armed services underneath Biden administration after this black eye, right? Think about the morale of the United States, because remember, America, United States of America, the value of the dollar is backed by the military. The might of America around the world is backed by the military. This is almost right for a quote unquote coup d'etat in America by the hands of the military, by order of the Trumpies and whatnot that are laying around, because they're like, yo, we can't allow Joe Biden to run this shit 4 more years. This shit is horrendous.
Yeah, and then you got to look at, you know, how some of the other countries is taking out their soldiers out of Africa to bring them back because of they knowing what's going on with this vaccine thing.
With the jab. Yeah, you got to
they bring them back over here too.
Right, but that was one of the reasons I heard too why Biden expedited the pullout. And they was like, bring them home. Fuck that. We're going to call that an L. They did the negotiations. We're not even going to press that. We bringing them back to stateside because we really need them here. And I already shared on September 15th is the date that the whole service is supposed to be inoculated with the candy. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I shared the mentality of a soldier, especially an American soldier. Because people used to be like, yo, at least we know that the American soldiers won't turn on their own people. Well, when you mandatory vax them up and they got to walk around with a jab, you think that they're not going to kick down doors and make sure all of you regular niggas get it? Their mentality is, if I got to have this shit in me, then all gloves are off. We're not playing by, oh, we trying to save. No, they're going to go harder on the people that don't got the candy once they have the military with the candy.
But that's a divide coming. That's a divide coming. Even with the military. The military is like the closest thing to the foundation of structure as far as holding up this government. And if they get a divide in the military, I've already seen some videos of military people's like, no, we ain't took no jab. I ain't taking no jab. But now they're being forced to take a jab without no choice in it. Right. That's a divide, man.
Yeah, that's not nice. That's not a good thing.
Yep. And then you got these militias out here. They waiting for an opportunity for a hole like this to come into play. The FBI, CIA, they've been knew about these guys, and they've been trying to keep it quiet. They've been trying to crush it and all that. But this is just gonna this is like a fusion to the whole ordeal. This pandemic is, it's like I see this bad boy free falling, man, and they trying to use whatever they can to take whoever they can down with them. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That you got to look at the economics, you got to look at the crypto, you got to look at this virus, you got to look at the black and white, you got to look at the businesses, you got to look at the jobs, you got to look at the education. This stuff is falling, man. It ain't no glide fall. This bad boy is falling, and this bad boy is trying to grab on to everybody and whoever they can to take it down.
Right, to pull them with them. The Titanic is sinking. And they telling everybody, just chill on the deck and get a tan. Right. And they rocking people to sleep, and it's like, you know, henceforth the sense of urgency and why I'm doing this when in Rome thing, so I could lay it out and do my due diligence and paint that picture and hopefully, you know, whoever hears it could have, and they're in the position, because this is about positioning. They're in a position to get up and make a move and be proactive. And I don't want us to be reactive. There's no power in reactionaries.
We must take our power back. That's one thing. And we do have a choice. They supposed to be up in there working for us. I mean, the military and these politicians, the politicians get paid after they get out, like my man was saying on the Lioness show. I mean, we just got to take our power back, man. We can't allow them to just do us and tell us what we supposed to. That's straight slavery, man. That's
right.
We're supposed to give our children a choice. You talking about don't give a grown adult no choice. No, this is mandatory. That it takes 10 years. The quickest was 3 years. We doing this stuff less than 1 year.
Right.
And then you trying to force it on us less than 1 year. Don't even know what the total side effects of it is. I already got people, my family, people I know that took it, and you know, 1 shot, the 2 shot, I warned them, hey, you got your own choice. So I ain't nothing else after that. But they already telling me of the side effects. They was like, soon as I got it, I got sick like I had a flu. I was down for a day and stuff. I'm like, you get I don't really want to call it. You know, you get that, and
right.
then you get
we call it the candy. We call it the candy.
The candy.
Right.
Get that candy yam. That candy yam bam bam, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
It's stick in your blood on something that I don't know what's up with it. So I mean, like I've been telling my girls and people like that, if you don't know the ingredients of it, then I mean, why would you even take it? If they can't tell you the ingredients of it, why would you even take it? If you put gasoline, the right type of gasoline in your car to run it, why
right.
would you, and know what it's gonna do? Why would you put something in your body you don't know what it's gonna do? That's all I can say. I can't make no choices for nobody, but for mine, I'm you know what I'm saying, that's a whole nother story. We're gonna be fighting. We're gonna be fighting there. That's for mine. But for everybody else, you know, that's your choice.
Right.
I ain't gonna hold you up, man. I just wanted to put those little things because I've been looking to that Afghanistan too. I just ain't put a lot of more research into it, but I'm seeing some things connecting dots and how
it's dots. They got it dotted up, yo. It's dots to that shit. Like I didn't even do the deep dive, but just scratching the surface.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. Somebody in the chat room said that the Taliban is the locks right now.
Yeah, I don't want to go too deep right now, really on that. Far as I'm concerned, because it's a lot more about to come out to play on that.
Right.
So I could say some more things, but I ain't trying to put myself and my family in no eyes of certain individuals. So I'm trying to stay kind of shallow on that right now myself.
You already know.
Other people speak on it, and if they ain't speaking on it, I'm just gonna hold that to myself, basically.
Right, shadow boss.
Yes, sir.
Shadow boss.
All right, there, brother. I enjoyed your king with your crown on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get my crown.
Yeah, shout out to
Olu,
my guy Olu out of Atlanta. You know what I mean? He's the craftsman for the crowns. He got us crowned up. Shout out to Olu.
Yeah, too, for sure. All right, there, peace and family. I'm out of here.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So we have one more brother in the building. Man Al. Salute to my bro. And for everybody out there, pine needle, look into the pine needle tea. That is a natural remedy. Pine needle tea. It was recommended to me by Dr. Phil Valentine and KT the Arts Degree. So that part. All right. I'm gonna get a brother a few minutes, and if he doesn't pop up, we out of here. Matter of fact, we out of here because we had 3 hours and 30 minutes. I want to say love and light to everybody. I will be back on the Thursday before I do my lecture. The link is in the description if you want to tap in and buy a ticket for the Zoom on Thursday, When in Rome. Pop up, tap in. All of my KTLians, all of my KTL University students, we are back in the building. You know, I do this once or twice a month. You know what I mean? These lectures and whatnot. All right, here go my brother. What's good, my bro? Hello there. Peace. Can you hear me? What's good, bro?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. I can hear you, my brother. How you doing? I can hear you. He might have slow response. Peace. What's good, my brother? He out of here. He been trying to tap in, man. I feel bad for the brother. But let me see. Can we end it on a video? Ooh. All right, y'all. So I guess this is the end of the show. My brother Manow, I'll get back to you. We couldn't hear you, so we're gonna tap in on the next show with you. You feel me? Everybody that came through tonight, love and light. I appreciate everybody for joining us. We're gonna end it on the Valkyries. You know what I'm saying? Get that Red Summer album, y'all. Tap in. All right.
Red pillar.
Love and light.
That wasn't the way they raised me. Open up towns like Phase 3. Red in that all red paisley. Chick on bracelet. Dropping your knees, your bitches, they praise me. Dirty to dance and patches of Swayze. Drummers like Sway Lee. Bitch, I'm the baby. Head of the babies in trunk of Mercedes. Tell me who started the wave. This is the science, so aren't you a slave? The part of your grave. Open the seasons. Open the Caesars. Quarter the gallon of water we selling. Spitting out seeds, the water the melons. Short of the felons. Going to sleep. Making the money, we order the selling. Order the culture, order the melons. Play fair. Play for the throw like Wayfair. Hyperdimensional warfare. My sniper was sentinel forebearers. Foursquare and then Port Nightshell. Cut of the grass, I lost vipers. Lost on Rikers. Striking the Uzi and lining like four diapers.